Hello, everybody! I was just making sure that everything is working properly. I just got a message from somebody saying that their link did not work. So I just sent an email to make sure everybody has the proper link. So I see some of you guys are there watching already. I'm going to make sure that I say in the chat box. Let's see. Hello. Click play to start video. We are live, you guys. I'm so excited. I see we have one viewer. Very, very exciting. There's a lot of people in the chat box, so I just want to make sure that everybody knows to click play on the video that you can see in the. How do I do this? I'm sorry, you guys. Return. There we go. Okay. All right, everybody. I'm so excited for this workshop. You guys have no idea. Okay, so somebody is asking, is it live yet? Yes, it is. I see that there's 7 people that are in the chat, but then I see only 5 viewers right now. So yes, I'm just gonna make sure I'm having my chat with me on my phone so I can chat with you guys if there's anything like this happening. Yes, it is live. Just click play on the video. Let's see. Done. Okay. Cool. So I hope that it ends up working out. Please, you guys, if for any reason you guys can't hear me or you can't see me, feel free to continue to post in the chat box. I'm just going to make sure that my computer is all set to go so I don't get disconnected here. All right. Again, trouble creating a login name. Okay. Hi, Samika. Is that how you say your name? I'm really bad with pronunciation. Samika? Birmingham. That's awesome. Cool. Well, I'm going to go ahead and get started. It's a couple minutes after 1, and I'm just going to start with some basic things so that people can kind of roll on in. Usually with our live sessions, we get a decent portions, like probably a good 20 minutes in. So I'll go ahead and just do all of the slower stuff first and then get into the juicy stuff later. So I have my notes here for me. First of all, I've got my workbook that I'm going to be working through with you guys. So please make sure, and I'll go over this in a second, that you have the workbook. And if you don't have the workbook, that's totally fine. You can just use like a notebook if you want. However, there is going to be some things that I'm going to be referencing that are only going to be in this. So that's why in the email I said I highly suggest you go ahead and just do the upgrade for $7. And if for any reason you're watching this right now and you have not upgraded but you would like to, there's a link below. So if you want to just right click that I believe it's in the middle. It's the middle image below this video. You can right click that and then open it in another window and you can purchase the upgrade through that, and then you'll be able to receive the workbook. Just make sure that the email that you have is the correct email that you want it to be sent to, because there's a couple people that did not receive the downloadable, and what you'll do is you'll get a receipt from whoever you paid through, like if it's PayPal or I don't know what, like Visa or something like that. There is a receipt specifically from, I believe it's Google, or it's a different receipt from the actual like payment receipt, and that has the download in it. So make sure that you have the right email, and that you, if you don't get it within a couple minutes, that you check your spam mail. Alrighty, cool. So thank you guys for being here. I'm so excited for this workshop. First of all, goal setting is like my absolute favorite thing, and I'll get into this later. But if you're new to our community, welcome. This is What It Takes Makeup Artistry platform. I'm Amber Tallarico, and I am the creator and director of this whole platform. And just so you guys get a little information about me, I am a freelance makeup artist. I've been doing this for 11 years. And not this past July, but the July before that, I released a documentary called What It Takes. And I directed and created this documentary about 6 years ago, maybe even 7 years ago now. And I documented my experience from moving out here from Indiana. I live in LA right now. And basically, I only had $500 in my back pocket, and I somehow made my dream work for me with a lot of dedication and motivation. And throughout the film, you see kind of my experience of struggling and having, moments of just straight out like despair, not being able to pay bills and having to call my mom for some help. And all while we have 40 artists that we interviewed, and 26 of them, I believe it's might be 27 or 28 now, that are award-winning makeup artists between Oscars and Emmys and Guild Award winners, things like that. And it's really exciting. We even had like V. Neal a part of it, Aaron Kruger McCash, Chris Nelson, Michael Key, Sarah Tano. Gosh, who else? There's like 40 people. So I can't like sit here and list them all, but there's a lot of amazing people that we had the pleasure of interviewing. And these amazing artists also speak about their experiences of kind of rising to the top. So the whole film encompasses what it takes to be a makeup artist. So I created that about, it was in the making for a good 5 years, and it released last year. So over the last year, I have been kind of creating this online platform for makeup artists to gain motivation and inspiration to continue reaching for their wildest dreams all around the world. And it's kind of like my passion, and I really do feel like it is something that I have been called to do. And this is how I'm doing it, is through workshops and events and master classes and things like that. So I absolutely love doing these types of things for you guys. If you have been a part of our community for a while, you know that I do several free online workshops throughout the year. We do makeup challenges. We just did one. It was called the Manifesting Makeup Artist. It was so much fun. And yeah, that's kind of like me in a nutshell. Today's topic is all about goal setting and manifesting. And what I was saying before is that's like what I'm obsessed with. I am legitimately obsessed with manifesting goals, writing my goals out. And ever since I was a very, very little girl, I have always been kind of like a to-do lister and a goal setter. I remember being in 3rd grade, getting my first planner where I had to write out everything that I was supposed to do for that week, and all my homework assignments and what I wanted to do for these homework assignments. And I became obsessed with it. And that has never stopped for me. So I really, this is something that I'm like obsessed with. And even when I moved from Indiana, I literally had $500 in my back pocket, and I lost 100 of it on the way there, which is funny to look back on. And I still made it work. And it's really cool to look back on, because I was just kind of filling out my workbook, and I was reflecting, on some like my past experiences. And even before I moved out here, that was in 2012, I wanted to move to this very specific apartment complex, and I would always look at it. I always had this picture that I would look on my computer top, and I would just like look at how much it was. I would look at what it looks like in the inside. I would visualize myself being inside. And I remember the day that I realized that I actually ended up living there, which is really bizarre. So I manifested that into my life, and I've manifested so many other things. And I wanted to share with you guys some of the things that I've manifested just this past year. And I'm going to share with you how I did that later on. So some of the things I've manifested this year specifically, I have had some major bucket list items off of like being crossed off this year, which is really amazing. I'm so like grateful for all the experiences I've had this past year. I have always, always, always wanted to work with Converse, and specifically doing their ad campaigns. And I had the opportunity to work with under an artist for that, and that was like mind blowing. So that is now checked off my list. I have really expanded my client base with men's grooming. That's something that I've always wanted to kind of focus on, was men's grooming. And I actually got to work with the actor Josh Duhamel, who is just as attractive in person as he is, you know, on camera. So, and he's super nice too. And I've been working a lot with agencies, like the top agencies that I've had on my list ever since way before moving here, which is like really, really cool. And every time I get an email from any one of these agents, I'm like, ah! I'm not on the roster or anything like that yet, but I've been working a lot with them on their, like assisting their artists and things like that. Like a lot. It's kind of bizarre. I landed a men's grooming gig with Barney's New York, and I also got a really big ad campaign spot with Lululemon. So all of these things have been on my bucket list of like wanting to work with really big, you know, celebrities, wanting to, there's like very specific agencies that I want to work with, and I work with the top 2 that I've had on my list. And all these things just happened for me this year. And so I'm so excited to share with you guys how I did this. All right. So enough about me. I hope you guys kind of, the people that don't really know me, got a better sense of who I am. I'm going to just say hi in the chat. All right. Hi, Brandy. You're located in Los Angeles as well. We should say hello to each other, get some coffee or something. Hi, Kelly from NYC. Hello, hello. I'm so excited for you guys to be here. Okay, so 2019 is going to be amazing. Before I get started and get super excited, I want to make sure that we kind of talk about some things that you might need throughout the time. So you'll want to have water or a drink or something. I've got both my coffee and my water, because I mean, I'm doing a lot more, you know, talking, but you know, we'll be together for the next like probably 2 hours, depending on how the chat goes, if you guys have a lot of questions or anything. For those of you that purchased the upgrade, definitely have that with you. So we'll be filling these out kind of together, or going through them together. And if you don't have the packet, that's totally fine. A notebook and a pen is essentially what you need. And then next, I just wanted to let you guys know how to use the chat box. So some of you are already using it, which is amazing. Let's see. So pretty much if you're on a mobile device, you actually have to exit out of the video, which kind of stinks, to use the chat box. If you're on a desktop or a laptop, it's just to the right of the video. So you can type in there. If you're, it gives you the option to give like your name if you want to have your name like tagged onto it. Like anytime that you say something, you want your name like on it. You do have to kind of like set it up that way. If for any reason either you're on a phone and you exit out of that chat box, you have to do it again. So that's how the chat box works. Unfortunately, I don't have anything fancier for you guys with the chat box, but this, it works just fine. And yeah, if you guys like, if there's anything going on, please feel free to use the chat box. I really appreciate and love when you guys use the chat box too, because I want to make sure that you guys are there and that I'm not talking to like a brick wall or something. All right, so talking about 2019. 2019 is going to be a very, very important year for artists specifically. So if any of you guys, when I wrote the email about like one of the reminder emails, I specifically said come with an open mind. We're going to be going over a lot of very kind of, I don't want to call them out there things, but they're very unconventional things. I'll just put it that way. So if any of you guys are into astrology, the year 2018 was the year, if you add up the numbers, that's how astrology works. It adds up to 22, which is a mastery number. So in 2018, a lot of us were kind of mastering ourselves. We were mastering our skills. We were learning things, learning from our mistakes, kind of reflecting on past experiences. For me, I did a lot of energy healing, and I learned a lot about growing a business and learned, about trade secrets and things like that. 2019 is a year that it actually equals 12, and when you do astrology, you add two-digit numbers together. So when you get a 12, you add 1 plus 2, which equals 3. And what that actually kind of like metaphorically comes out to is 1, 2, 3. So this year is all about getting everything in order, and as simple as 1, 2, 3. Everything, as long as we put ourselves out there consistently and with passion and everything like that, will kind of go in that rhythm of like 1, 2, 3. So it's just like ready, set, go, 1, 2, 3, ABC, right? So this year, in astrology terms, is going to be a lot easier than last year. And it's kind of just going to fall into place. Okay. So that's why I was so excited about this year to talk with you guys. So we're going to go over your goals. We're going to go over some ways to achieve these goals and all that fun stuff. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get started. So if you guys would please join me in the first page of your workbook. So the first page, whether you fill this out beforehand or not, I don't know. It's just a bunch of prompts to ask you to kind of get your brain rolling on what your goals are. And we dig way deeper later on, and we'll get into that towards the end. So obviously, the first question is, what are some of your biggest goals in 2019? And for me, I always like to, for this first prompt, kind of like go big with it. And we'll talk about how to create digestible goals later on, but still like just kind of go out there for now. And we'll talk about how to kind of indicate if it's going to be like a good thing for you or not, certain goals. So go ahead and write that in your prompt guide, or I'm sorry, your workbook. And if you are just using a notebook, just write what your biggest goals for 2019 are. So feel free, if you guys want to share in the chat box, that would be awesome. I'd love to hear some of your guys' goals. I'll share some of my goals. My goals are to get in the union. I'm very, very close. I actually have a gig lined up that would bring me into the union. So fingers crossed that I get the gig. I'll be knowing about that probably by early next week. So I'm excited about that. Another goal is to get signed by an agency. I've been like really, really planting those seeds last year. And actually for a while, I've been on one of the agency's assistance roster for I think like 6 or 7 years now. But this past year was all about like really, really honing in on creating those relationships. Another goal that I have is to expand the What It Takes community. As you guys probably know, we've got a lot planned for 2019 if you guys follow us at all. With like more challenges, and we're going to have more interviews. I'm really excited about that. We're completely redoing our YouTube channel, so you'll hear more about that later on, and a lot more other stuff that's going to be coming. Distribution for the documentary, that's something that is on my goal list for this year. I want to travel this year. That's a huge, huge goal for me. I've never traveled outside of the United States, and so that is something that is a huge goal for me this year. And then also a really big goal of mine is to step out of my comfort zone and share law of attraction and mindset techniques with things that are beyond what is in my comfort level. So I could talk about law of attraction all freaking day, but when it comes to crystals or Kundalini or energy work or things like that, that's usually something I would always be like, oh yeah, like I do that, but it's whatever. No, this year I'm going to be sharing everything, and there's no closed curtains here anymore. So that is a goal that I'm going to be having for the upcoming year. So let's see, is anybody sharing? Let's see what the chat says. I'd love to hear from you guys. Feel free to chat, type in the chat box what some of your guys' goals are. And then the second question is, how do you feel right now in your career on a scale from 1 to 10? So this is actually something that I want you guys to really feel into, because it's really important. So say for instance, I put an 8, but I've been doing a lot of like energy work, and I've been doing a lot of personal like self-development work for the last like several years. So I feel pretty okay with where I'm at. However, if you would have asked me this question, say in 2014 or something, I would have probably said like a 4, maybe. And basically, the reason why I'm explaining this is that if you are setting your goals on a scale that's lower than 5, most likely the majority of those goals won't be achieved. And the reason why is just because you're not confident. You have to build your confidence in order to really achieve these goals and push yourself outside of those boundaries, out of those comfort zones. And it's all, it kind of comes down to confidence. So we'll go over how you can kind of bring your vibration up from, anywhere between, if you're really low, like at like a 2 or something, or maybe even 1, I don't know. I have a lot of techniques to share with you guys to bring your levels up, your vibration up, and essentially kind of recondition your confidence level so that you can achieve these things. Something that I've experienced is at the very beginning of my career, there was a particular person that just crushed my confidence, like just to the core, and to the point where it carried over into my career as a makeup artist. This was at the very beginning of my career, like right out of cosmetology school in 2008. And because of that particular person, I never thought that I was worthy until a few years ago. And so ever since kind of like getting that energy like out from like stuck areas, and releasing it, and then of course doing other like self-reflection work and things like that, I was able, my confidence level went way up. So I was asking for higher rates and feeling fine with it, instead of being like, oh, well, yeah, I can do it for 100. Like, no, I don't do shit for 100 anymore because I've been doing this for too damn long. However, I will say though, there is something to be said to do, like, if you've been working with somebody for several years, and there's a particular person that I've been working with for many, many, many years, and I would do things for free for him because I love him and he's one of my favorite clients. So like there's that, but you guys probably get where I'm going with that. So we want to bring our confidence levels up to as high as you could possibly go, which is a 10. And right now I'm at an 8. So I still have work to do. And whatever you're at, just kind of keep that in mind. So a good example would be that if, say, for instance, you have 10 goals and you write out your 10 goals, but you're feeling like when you sit and you just kind of close your eyes and you feel into like how you're feeling in your career right now, like, are you really kind of like bummed of like you're not where you want to be? You're at like a 3. That would mean, just like kind of think of it this way, that of the 10 goals, you're only going to achieve 3 of them. And that's just because it's just where you're at. It's where your subconscious is at. It's where your vibration is at. It's where your aura is at. Things like that. That kind of just like all comes full circle. And it goes on, we could speak about spirituality terms, and we could also speak about like legitimately psychological terms. So that was a long winded kind of explanation of this particular question. All right, so the next question is, what are your biggest frustrations regarding your freelance career? So for me, I wrote waiting on paychecks. I am so thankful that I am to the point where financially, everything works out every single month. It's just waiting on these paychecks. So that's something for me that's a huge frustration. So for me, kind of analyzing that is like, okay, so how could I change that pattern? How could I change that negative aspect, if you will? be more responsible. And this is something that recently I came across, and it was like a pivotal moment for me, just like a huge, huge aha moment of like, I don't know if anybody in here has done energy work, but when you go into like things that you've learned, so say for instance, if you have a lot of money blocks, you might be receiving money blocks because you were brought up in a household that never really had money and always had to be penny pinchers and would always, say like, well, you can't afford that, or we can't afford that. You can't get that because we don't have enough money. And it starts to program your mind about not having enough. So something that I grew up with was I had an older sister, and she was always the responsible one. And I was the youngest of 4 girls. And so I kind of always, I learned things from all my sisters. And if I ever needed something, I usually got a lot of help with it. The whole baby, the baby syndrome, I guess you could say, the baby siblings, I don't know what they call it. And it kind of turned into lack of responsibility. I never had to have responsibility for anything. And so for me, waiting on paychecks, that could kind of fall back onto me being responsible about how to handle my money. So that's something that was a huge aha moment for me. And I started kind of doing affirmation work with saying to myself, I am responsible. I am responsible. And it has really done some incredible things for me. So some other things that might be frustrating for you in your career as a freelancer, or, if you are doing this like a part-time retail job or something, is you're not being paid enough, or you're not getting enough work. Maybe you have a very small network of fellow makeup artists. I don't know. There's a lot of, I'm sure there's a lot of frustrations. Working with the wrong group of people. Jesus, I've had so many people that I've worked with that were just like, just the worst. Talking about like just demeaning and all that kind of stuff. So that might be frustrating in your career right now, depending on where you're at. I'm looking at the chat box. 3, the number of the artist. Yes, 3 is the number of the artist. Yes. So yeah, make sure you write your frustrations down. The really awesome thing about this workbook, you guys, and writing these answers to these questions is it is very, very, very psychologically soothing. This is what a lot of like counselors do for their patients, is they have them write in a journal so that they can kind of get everything out and on paper. And a lot of the times when you put all of your emotions and all your thoughts on paper, you actually see it in front of you like, oh, wow, okay, like that kind of just came out of nowhere. So it's very, very powerful what you can do with writing and just seeing things being put on paper. When we were doing the Manifesting Makeup Artist Challenge this past month, there was a lot of people that gave that feedback of like, oh, wow, I was writing out my goals, and seeing it out on paper like really changed things for me. So writing things out is it's a really, really great thing to do for your spirit, your body, and your mind. Alrighty, so next question, we're on page 2 now, is there anything you can improve on? And I want you to really be honest with yourself on this. Don't, we're not sitting one-on-one in front of each other right now, so like it's not like you have to impress anybody or anything like that. What could you do to improve yourself for, getting to where you want to be in your career? For me, consistency is something that I myself struggle with. I have like these crazy just like thoughts all the time, all day, every day. And so I get distracted very, very easily. So what I could improve on is consistency, and also being more visible. So something that I was very bad about in 2018 was being visible. I did it for sure. I did the workshops that I'm doing similar to what I'm doing now. I would be on social media, but it wasn't enough. Like for some reason, I just had this really weird like awkwardness about being on camera. I don't know. It's really strange, but when you're visible, you you become like one of the first things that comes to mind to other people. So for me, I always feel like it's really weird. Like, why do people want to watch me? Like, I would much rather just post my work. I'd much rather just post really funny videos of my cat on Instagram. The what is it? IG. Oh my gosh, I'm losing my words right now. The stories, the IG stories. And it actually, people love to see you. People love to see what you're up to. People love to see that you're working, or if you're not necessarily working like on a paid gig or like a professional gig or whatever, that you're practicing. So being visible is really, really, really big. So maybe that's something that you guys resonate with as well, being more visible. So, and actually for 2019, this year is about visibility. So we want to see you. Everybody wants to see you. We want to see what you're doing. That's, our world now is social media, and we all want to see what each other are doing. So another thing that maybe you feel you could improve on is, maybe you kind of have really negative self-talk. For the longest time, I always was like, oh gosh, I don't have enough money to do this, and I don't want to take that job because I don't want to have to say no to another job, and I'm not worthy of this other job, and I don't want to ask for $300 because I'm too scared that they'll say no, so I'll just do it for $100. There's things like that you can improve on. So improving your positive talk to yourself could be something that maybe you feel you could improve on. Or let's see, what else are things that you could improve on? Practicing. I feel like practicing can be kind of hard sometimes to practice, at least for me anyways. I work a lot, so I always talk to my boyfriend Kenneth about this. I'm like, I feel so terrible that I don't practice. And he's like, yeah, well, you're working all the time, so call that practice. But I do wish that I practiced more of my skill, and that is something on my goal list with Kenneth specifically to do is some personal photo shoots where we just practice our craft. Let's see. Quit desk job and do more makeup work. That's a really great. I love that goal, CF32. I love that goal. That, it is a very big step. And we'll go over this later, but you want to make sure that you're ready for it and that you're confident the moment that you leave, because here is the truth. You're going to leave because that's what you're meant to do. You're meant to do makeup, and you don't want to be stuck at a desk job, right? So make it this year, and sooner than later, but make it, a responsible walk away. All right. I would love all the technique help. Current student confidence level is not great, but I do think a lot of it comes with practice and being able to do messing up on lines and not being so terrified. Absolutely. That's so true. A huge goal of mine is to work on this and really start transitioning out of my desk job to work towards the makeup industry, finding a way to pay for other schooling as well. Absolutely. So perfect example of that is saving. That could be something that you could improve on this year, is making sure you stock some savings away. And I don't know what your current situation is with savings. I'm not that good with savings. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I wish that I was better. That's definitely something I could improve on. But yeah, with education and stuff like that, it's all about, just really kind of delegating out all of your bills and everything like that, and then just stashing away. I know it sounds a lot easier said than done, but that's definitely something I would completely agree with you on. Being consistent and visible is definitely a struggle. I used to have a strong media presence and lost a bit of myself along the way. It has definitely affected how I get work. Absolutely. Yeah, here's the thing. I love that you said that, because social media is such a big deal nowadays. And, if you asked me anything about Instagram and social media like 3 or 4, maybe 5 years ago, I would have been like, I don't care. Like, people, they want to see my website, and that's not true anymore. People they go to your website, and kind of like our websites now are what the books actually are like. So when I moved here in 2012, people were still having their portfolio books to present to agents. And that has kind of phased out. And now the website is kind of what the portfolio book is now, if that makes sense. So the cool thing about Instagram specifically is you can kind of create your own website portfolio with the highlights. And that's what I've done. And I have a whole social media and Instagram 3-hour training that if anybody is interested, by all means, please, you can email me directly and I can give you the information for that. We're not technically publicly promoting it right now, but I have a whole thing on that. And just a little side story, I do special effects, and not like wholeheartedly. I do it, but it's not like I call myself like a special effects artist. I pretty much call myself like an advertising makeup artist and men's groomer. That's kind of what I see myself as. And I just so happen to do special effects as well. And on my website, I have all my beauty stuff, all of my commercials and ads and things like that. And I never put any special effects on my website. And then all of my special effects was on my social media. And I started getting a ton of special effects gigs. And it was because people saw how often I was posting special effects stuff. And they're like, oh, she's a special effects artist. And so, that was earlier this year that I kind of picked up on that and changed that around. And now it's kind of more of a balance. So yes, your social media does affect getting work. There was a point several weeks ago, it was in like early November. I didn't really have anything going on for a good week. And I was like, hey, like, I cut hair. So I posted on my Instagram that I had some openings to do some men's haircuts, and I got like 3 or 4 people. So visibility will 100% work out for you. You just have to be consistent about it and, put yourself out there. Savings. Yes. Got to work on savings, she says. Or he, I'm not sure. That's on there for 2019. When does the terrifying feeling go away when going on a job? I'm always so nervous when doing a job, mostly assisting. I'm afraid of disappointing. Assisting can be really intimidating if you haven't worked with the person. But it all is through time. I don't know. Whoever asked this question, I'm not sure how long you've been doing makeup for, but it does go away through time and experience. I was always nervous going on jobs, and now I'm like, woo, can't wait to do this job. And I will say, because I still assist quite a bit, when I'm assisting somebody new, I get really nervous. I still get nervous. Anything else, I'm like, whatever. It's going to be fun. I'm doing makeup for a career. Like, how cool is this? So that it just comes through confidence. And we'll go over how to really build your confidence. I personally, over the last 3 years, my confidence has really blossomed because of meditation. So we'll go over that in a couple pages. But meditation will help with that. It basically calms your nerves. So any form of like being scared about a job or feeling intimidated about a job comes from anxiety. So when we address our anxiety through meditation, it'll do wonders for you, I promise. So I don't know if you meditate currently, but it'll help you a lot with that. All right, so next question. Looking back on your 2019 goals and the above prompts, do you feel any type of resistance to these goals? So, for instance, my goals were getting in the union, getting on an agency roster, the full roster, expanding the What It Takes community, things like that. So some things that, could be giving me resistance is being scared to be seen, not feeling worthy. Like something that I have definitely felt is that a very big part of me is like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I'm good enough to be on an agency roster. But it all comes down to mindset. I mean, wow, there's like some amazing makeup artists, but they've been doing makeup less years than I have. So, you know, it's all in perspective. Um, you know, what are some things that you could, that are creating resistance for you? A lot of times it's some sort of energy block. But, you know, is there, you know, let's see, what else could there be with resistance? You might have a loved one that isn't supportive of you that is causing resistance. And I'm not saying to like break up with this person or divorce them or move out or anything like that. However, what you can do is during any type of meditation work, just like seeing yourself with white light and then sharing that white light with that person. That is something that I have seen work very, very well for myself. And that causes resistance, a lot of resistance. When I was wanting to move out here to Los Angeles from Indiana, my mother was a huge, you know, resistance block for me. She kept saying like, oh my God, California's falling off of the face of the earth. Like you can't go. And do you like, it's so expensive out there. And it was like, you know, she was feeding me all these things of like, you can't do it. You can't do it. You can't do it. This is why, this is why, and this is why. So, you know, finally at that point in my life, I wasn't really into like meditation or anything like that. But, I basically just was like, I got to do this for myself and I just got to go. So that is one way, just like doing it anyways. But something I find a lot more calming to deal with or to use to deal with that is meditation and kind of like spreading your passion for what it is that you're trying to pursue and your love for it. All right. Let's see some other resistance. Maybe you don't have enough money to leave, you know, a desk job or something like that. So that could be resistance. You know, you feel like you don't have, like you're not, like you don't have enough money and you're constantly in this, like, I don't have enough money to pursue this. I don't have enough money to follow my dreams, things like that. Once you start really accessing what it is that is making you kind of not fulfill your biggest dreams, that's when you can do some amazing self-reflection work, and it'll do some amazing things. And I want you guys to write these out so you guys can see it in front of you, and that at any point in time you can come back to it and see what you need to work on from what your growth is. So yeah. 5 years. Oh, 5 years. Yeah. So yeah, 5 years. I'm trying to think of where I was at 5 years. I would say I had moved out here recently. Let's see. So I've been out here 7 years. So I was here for 3 or 4 years by the time that I came here. I'm sorry. I was doing hair and makeup for 3 or 4 years by the time I moved here. So yeah, my confidence level definitely was not anywhere close to what I feel now. But like I said, I was not doing that much, like, you know, self-reflection work or development work. So if you start now, like you're gonna see a dramatic change with how you pursue your career and getting past resistance and blocks and things like that. So if, you know, I feel like, I'm trying to think. So this is 2019. Yeah, so I've been doing like crazy energy work where I'm very like specific with the type of energy work I'm doing for myself for like 3 years now. Manifesting and things like that, naturally, just like not realizing that that's what it was, I've been doing my whole life. But yeah, confidence is, I mean, we all kind of suffer from kind of being, we doubt ourselves a lot. So meditation, like I said before, is definitely something that will help you. All right, next question is, what motivates or inspires you as an artist? So we just talked about the things that are resisting you. Now I want to, you know, like you're bringing out all these like things like, you know, okay, so the resistance is like money, and resistance is this person or that block or whatever. Now we're going to talk about what inspires you. So you always want to remember why you're pursuing this career, because it's going to always bring you back to the why. why you're doing this, why you're putting yourself through this, right? So if you are 100%, pursuing a freelance career and as a makeup artist, you know how hard it can be to really sustain that. Now, you just have to remember what inspires you so that you can consistently and constantly remind yourself why you're doing this, and also kind of keep that fuel going, that fire going, so that it doesn't burn out. All right? So I want you guys to write down what motivates and inspires you. What got you into being a makeup artist? Was it a certain person? Was it a certain class or a workshop? For me, what inspires me is seeing others succeed. That's something that is so inspirational for me. When I see somebody else that's doing really amazing things, I'm like, hell yeah, that is so cool. I need to get my ass in gear right now. I'm going to do, and it gets me fired up. So that's something that inspires me. This past Manifesting Makeup Artist Challenge, so many people were writing amazing things. Every single day for 5 days, there was a different theme that we would essentially we would post about. And so, for instance, the first day was dream. So everybody wrote their dreams down, like what their biggest and wildest dreams are. And it was so inspiring to see and read all these people's posts. It was amazing. And so that for me was like, wow, this is like so amazing. And it reminds me of like why I'm doing what I'm doing, and all that kind of stuff. Other things that really inspire me are going to conventions or, workshops or things like that, anything education based. I originally started in hair. So I have my cosmetology license, and I remember so vividly going to the hair shows and just being like so incredibly inspired and just like fired up after the whole weekend would end. And I just like, hair shows are just like another freaking animal. I love hair shows. Makeup shows are really great too, but there's just something different about the hair world. I don't know what it is, but they just really they just go all out. And if any of you have ever been to a hair show, you know what I'm talking about. And if you haven't, I highly suggest you go. It's an incredible experience. So going to those types of things. Monsterpalooza, I always get super inspired because there's so many cool makeups going on. I always see really dear friends of mine at these conventions, and I meet new people and network. Networking also inspires me. Something that I love doing is meeting new artists. So that's something that really does keep me inspired and kind of on my toes. And another thing that's kind of like, I don't want to call it silly because it's not silly at all, but it's Pinterest. I love Pinterest. I was just rolling through Pinterest the past couple days and just getting super duper excited about a bunch of makeup looks. And Kenneth and I, my boyfriend, were like, oh my God, we got to do that look and we got to do that look. So we now have like an arsenal of makeup looks that we want to do on models this upcoming year. So that is Pinterest really inspires me. So write down what inspires you, because you want to, when you're in this vibration of inspiration and passion and excitement and just like you kind of become unstoppable. And when your mind is in this kind of like state, psychologically, you become motivated to do things for yourself that are bigger than like, say for instance, when you're feeling the resistance. It's common knowledge, like if you're feeling really sluggish and you're feeling really down about yourself, you're not gonna be really excited about posting on social media or I don't know, emailing somebody for a potential job. Whereas when you sit there and you really go through everything that inspires you and reminds you of like why you just love this industry, that will be like, fuck yeah, I'm going to go email the agent and I'm going to go email this person to network with them. And I'm going to go buy that ticket so I can network. So that is something we all need to do and remember, and if that means, writing on a Post-it or something and seeing it in the mirror every single day just to see, get your positivity kind of flowing so you can be in that vibration, then, so be it. Post-it notes are great. Or like maybe on the back screen of your cell phone or on your desktop, anything like that. All right, let's see. A bunch of chats coming in. Oh, you inspire me. Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you. You guys inspire me. All right, let's see. I didn't participate in the Instagram challenge, but it was inspiring to read others' goals. It was, wasn't it? We'll have another one. Don't you worry. We're going to have a bunch this coming year. Just so you know, there's a lot going on with that. And it's going to be amazing. I'm going to split that way. So, let's see. Yes, those hair shows really amp you up and gets me. Isn't it crazy? The hair shows are so like, they're amazing. Woo woo! That was such a great challenge. It was awesome seeing everyone's posts. And it was great for us to realize what's really living inside of us. It was cool to see and experience. Thank you. It really was. I agree with you. P.S. This is Brandy. I keep getting kicked off and creating new names. P.S. I love all the shows and creativity. It definitely gives you that charge. Haven't gotten to hair yet, but would like to experience one. Oh yeah, it's amazing. I agree. It's very inspiring to see close friends succeed and get in the union from friends with 10 years of experience, 1 year getting in the union. Yes, exactly. With the union, there's a lot of variation with how people get in. That's a whole nother topic, but it is really inspiring. And I get so excited for people when they're getting in the union or they get signed to an agency or anything like that. We're all in this together, and that's something I really advocate is that there's a lot of competition out there, don't get me wrong, but when we see it as like actual competition, which is like, when like if you think of a competition in a sense of like, oh, we're doing a race and there's only one winner, we get competitive, and that in my mind is very negative because it's like there can only be one winner. And then there's at the end a loser. And I don't find this industry, like the word competitive, I just don't really find that like the best term. It's saturated is what it is. And it's, the people that are really, really passionate about it, you're going to be fine. There are so many jobs in this industry. I don't think people really like take the time to like really take that in and like actually realize that, because there's a lot of jobs in this industry. It's just a matter of the only thing that can be like a little bit of a hoop to jump through is location. So, and even then, it's just getting creative with how you promote yourself and what you do. So, like weddings are everywhere. You can make a lot of money with weddings. Alrighty, so next page is page 4. What are some ways you could achieve these goals? So I want you guys to brainstorm really quick. How could you achieve some of these goals? Now that you guys are getting all amped up and inspired, what are some ways you can achieve the goals that you wrote about? If your goals are to get in the union, what can you be doing? For me, getting everything situated with paperwork, going to contract services. By the way, anybody that's in the local 706, advice to you, go to the contract services, don't go to local 706. 706 they're kind of like the last people that go through your paperwork. So they're not even the first people that go through your paperwork. It's contract services. So starting all of your contract service paperwork, they're very, very nice. They tell you exactly what you need and what you don't need. So that could be, one way to achieve that goal towards it. For me, with getting into an agency, I have a ton of work that needs to be updated. So for me, one of my goals, hopefully by this next week, is to update my website. And then once that website is updated, immediately email the agents that I personally contact, like who I do all my work through. And just so you guys know, a little tip with agencies, something that I've learned is that it doesn't seem like they want you to constantly bug them. Once you're on an assistance roster, this is advice for assistance roster. If you're on the assistance roster, they actually want to hear from you more often than you probably think. So something that I have learned is to contact them anywhere between 7 to 10 days and tell them what my schedule is. And say, hey, so-and-so, this is my schedule for the upcoming X amount of days. Let me know if you need any assistance or if you have any other emerging artist work that you would pass on to me. And it works, okay? They'll see you, one, as super dedicated and determined, and you'll get work, I promise you. It's just a matter of getting on the assistance roster. So to get on the assistance rosters, you just want to really create a good relationship with them. Constantly be like, hey, I updated this. And every time you update your website, email them and ask for, any suggestions that they have or anything like that. All right. Other ways that you can brainstorm to achieve these goals, posting more on Instagram, being more visible. Sorry, my cat is next to me, so she might try to go in front of the camera. She always loves being on camera. Right now she's sitting on my paper. Kitty, can I get my paper really quick? Sorry. Good old kitty. All right, so let's see what else. For me, like I said at the very beginning of this session, we are completely redoing our YouTube, and there's going to be a lot more content, which we'll be sharing 1 to maybe even 3 times per week. So last night and yesterday, I spent like 10 hours straight. It was crazy. I was getting ready for this, of course, but I was doing all of the rebranding and recreating the video content and switching over, because we're actually switching over channels and things like that. So that's something that, I needed to do in order to achieve some of my goals within what it takes. So yeah, let's see what we've got in the chat box. I got accepted last year. Hope you get in soon. You deserve that, girl. Accepted, did you get into the union or did you get in the agency? Because either one, congratulations. That is amazing. Yay! 798, Alabama didn't have one. So, oh yes, it was different for application. Okay, yeah, 706 is really, really complicated. I don't even think it's legal for me to talk too much about it because they changed the rules so much. And 798, here is a lot, more pleasant. I'll just put it that way. So congratulations to you to getting in 798. That's amazing. Congratulations, Brandy. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Congratulations, everybody. Let's see. Sorry, my phone keeps wanting to, like, I don't know, tag. Okay. So the next question is, what could help accelerate achieving these goals? So these are like, the goals we just talked about are just like tangible, like let's just do these goals. What's like common knowledge to achieve these goals? So, okay, getting in the union, common, steps to take is getting your paperwork together and then going to the contract services, if that's what your union calls for. So we're going to go a step further than that. What can you do to help accelerate achieving your goals? I wrote down practice. Practicing would help accelerate your goals because, one, you're practicing your craft and you're kind of in your element. So you're bringing your vibration up, which is amazing. But 2, you're bringing your confidence up when you're practicing. We were talking about confidence earlier. When you are practicing your craft, you experience things like, say, for instance, you experience not to use this product with this product because they react not good together. Well, it's better that you practice that and learn that instead of learning that on set. Now, learning that on set is fine too, as long as you're not harming people, because you learn a lot on set, don't get me wrong. But practicing is huge, huge, huge. The other things that I wrote for accelerating achieving your goals, which is what we're going to get into very, very soon, is the mindset work. So meditation is number 1. Really, if you don't meditate currently, I highly, highly, highly suggest that you start. And just start small. A minute there, 3 minutes here, whatever you want to do just to start. There's an app that you guys can use called Headspace, and it gives you like a gradual way to meditate. Same with Calm app, just the word Calm, CALM. It's a great one. So meditation will help accelerate achieving these goals. Energy healing, which kind of can be teamed up with meditation. Kundalini yoga, or just yoga in general. Yoga helps balance us. It helps align us. We as makeup artists kill our backs, and we need to make sure that we're taking the utmost care of our backs specifically. Whether you have sciatica, low back pain, you have shoulder pain, whatever it might be, you need to take care of your spine, because our spine, like we need our spines. And our spine pain stems from the spine everywhere you go. Muscles too. Everything is completely connected. You've got myofascial cells. We've got or fascia. We've got the muscles. There's so much to the body, and yoga can really, really help with that. So personally, I do yoga between 5 to 7 times a week. But you can start with once a week, twice a week, whatever you want to do, and you'll see results. I started doing yoga last year. You guys, I hated yoga for the longest time. My mom was super into it, and she'd always be like, Amber, you have back problems, you need to do yoga. And I would always be like, Mom, like no, I don't want to do yoga. Like, I'm such a like hyper, like, I can't sit still. My favorite type of yoga is like yin yoga. So, my mom was right in that particular area. And it has changed my life 100%. I am now a yoga teacher. I'm now a yoga certified teacher. So I can technically teach yoga for, I think it's vinyasa, yin, and then restorative. I personally like Kundalini the best, and I'll talk about that later. But yin is like amazing. Yin and restorative is what I really do feel we as makeup artists need the most. We need to love our bodies. I know that sounds really like hippie and cheesy, but it's true. Thank you. Do you have a suggestion on how much what we should have on our website before we contact agencies for assisting? Absolutely. I'm going to try to really package this in a really small answer because it's a quite long answer. You want the absolute best photos ever. So whoever said that, feel free to, after this is all done, shoot me an email. Just reply to the email that has all the information to enter this, and I'll take a look at your website. I'll just kind of give you an example, because this is something I actually did a whole entire like 2-hour training on just websites. So actually, I could probably send you the one that we did, the training, the free training. I'll send you that. And had everything. 2 hours worth of everything. So, Love, Calm, and Insight Timer. Oh, Insight Timer. I've never heard of that one. Would you say amusement park haunts are good practice for makeup? Absolutely. 100%. You're doing all these haunt makeups consistently every single day. And usually it's the same makeup, or at least the same type of makeup for weeks. Yes, 100%. You're working, but it's wonderful, wonderful, wonderful practice. That's how I feel when I think about yoga. I should probably do that too. Seriously, I'm telling you guys, I was not into any of this kind of stuff. Like meditation, I've always been like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. But yoga was like, no, I'm not going to do yoga. But I'm obsessed with yoga now because of how much it changed my life. And I want to change your guys' life for the better as well. So if I can share that with you guys, please take that. Realistically speaking, how does one get union hours if you can do union gigs? Oh gosh, I can't answer that question right now. You guys, the union out here is I could talk about the union and how confusing it is for an hour. Just that. Not even answering this one question. How to get union hours if you can do union gigs. Union gigs, there's a commercial union, which if you know the right people, you can get on that way. You can get on as a producer, director, or a celebrity request. You can get on something that flips. So the thing that I'm getting ready to possibly do if I get hired has a very high chance of flipping, which means the production has a certain amount of a budget with certain caliber of cast, like the celebrity people that are on it, and it gets the attention of the union, and the union calls in and they flip it. So it's a non-union gig that can turn union, and then everybody on the set goes union. Thank you. I don't have a website yet, but I want to create one this year. Oh, perfect. So that the website training, you'll find perfect. So if you haven't put it together, that'll be like a really great step-by-step training on what you can do to make it look good. What because I go over in that training specifically the difference between a fashion website and a special effects website, because there is a difference. Okay, next page is page 5, overcoming resistance. So now that we've talked about what is causing our resistance and we've gotten back into this really positive kind of like mindset, we're going to talk about how you can overcome these resistance. So if you're looking at your workbook, it says the 3 C's. So the 3 C's are lack of clarity, lack of confidence, and lack of competence. So we have these goals, right? So goal being getting in the union, getting an agent, making a certain amount of money per month or per year. We can think about these goals all we want, but if we're not clear on them, the universe doesn't understand how to send the opportunities our way, or they do, and we're just not clear in the mind enough, or clear enough in the mind that we see the opportunities. It's the whole, you say pink flamingo, and then all of a sudden you see pink flamingos everywhere, or the red car theory, where you talk about a red car and then immediately start seeing red cars everywhere. So having clarity, so that's essentially bringing focus. So once you bring focus and a clear vision of your goals and how to achieve them, and you're meditating on these and you're doing mindset work and things like that, the universe will send you these opportunities, and you'll actually have a clear mind to see the opportunities coming your way. Because here's the thing, the opportunities are coming your way. It's just a matter of if you're paying attention or not. If you've ever noticed when you're in a restaurant and you are, say, with somebody, and if you are paying attention to the person next to you, you can hear their conversation. Their conversation doesn't necessarily end when you stop listening. Does that make sense? So if the person next to you is talking about how their boyfriend got them red roses, you're like, oh, that's cute. Like, let me listen to this conversation. And the moment that you stop listening, you never hear the end of their story because you're not paying attention. So that's kind of an example that I like to give for how the universe sends you opportunities. Sorry, Kitty. Kitty, nobody wants to see your backside. All right, so when the universe sends us opportunities, it's kind of like that person that is in the restaurant with you, that is talking over here. That has nothing to do with you, but the conversation is actually going on. It's just a matter of if you're paying attention to that conversation. I hope that makes sense. I have practiced yoga. I'm sorry, I'm going to go in the chat box really quick. I haven't practiced yoga much lately because of moving, but it definitely changed my life perspective for the better. Even made a short film around how inspired. Oh, wow, that's really cool. That's really cool. I want to see the film. Will you share that with me? I want to see the film. Yes, yoga is magical. You are so great. Thank you for being so helpful to us. You're welcome. Oh my gosh, this is what I love doing, you guys. I'd love for you to see my website as well. Yeah, you guys, if you want to shoot me your website, I'll give you a couple tips, things like that. All right, Kitty is she gets so needy sometimes. All right, so going on with clarity. I've been saying this the whole time, meditation is what will really, really, really help you gain clarity. It's been done so many times with testing, with scientists, with spiritualists, everything, and I've seen it like help so many people. I actually do one-on-one mentoring, and I always choose one meditation specifically for the people that I work with. I choose it for them, and every single one of them is like, yes, I love this meditation. So and I've actually gotten a couple people just because I'm sharing about meditation on my workshops, and people will shoot me messages like, oh my God, thank you so much. Like, I meditate now. Like, you got me hooked on meditating. So I highly suggest meditating. So going on to the next C. So the first C was clarity, or lack of clarity, to overcome resistance. The second C is confidence. So we've talked about confidence already. And basically, with clarity comes confidence. So when you're doing these meditations, you're gaining all this clarity. You're seeing opportunities come your way that feel like they're coming, like falling into your lap. And with that, your confidence will just naturally build. It's kind of like your passion kind of like just comes to fruition, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense. But once you really gain clarity, you're going to be like, yes, this is what I want, and now I know how to get it. So that's where that kind of confidence comes to push you in that direction that you're really trying to go for. Now, having that said, you will have to push past some really uncomfortable situations. You'll have to be open to being uncomfortable for a little bit, because here's the thing: when we're in our own bubble, it's like, oh yeah, this is really nice, like, whatever, and I'm not really where I want to be, but it's comfortable. Once you push past that uncomfortable bubble, there's going to be an even bigger bubble that's waiting for you, that's even better. And you want to expand yourself. Like, you want to like, think of it this way: when you want to lose weight or you want to gain weight, depending on, what your fitness goals are, you have to work out and you have to eat right. So when you're working out, you have to push past being super uncomfortable, in my opinion, with getting sore, like having to run and do things that's like, I don't really feel like doing this. And you have to push past being uncomfortable in order to see results. That goes for anything in life. When you have a baby, you get pregnant, or, females get pregnant, and you have this baby that's growing inside of you, and you're like, oh, I'm making something. And in order for that beautiful being of life to come to this earth, the woman that births that baby has to go through incredible amounts of pain. Same thing. In order to like manifest something really great, you do typically have to go through some crazy things that are very, very uncomfortable. All right. So, and not to get confidence mixed with arrogance, because that is a completely different thing. There are some people in this industry, you guys, like, when I see their posts, I'm just like, what? It's just, it's silly. So don't let arrogance get the best of you. If you do great things, be, obviously, like, by all means, be proud. I think being proud, personally, I actually need to work on that, is, being proud and showcasing my work that I am proud of. But arrogance is a completely different thing, and we all know the difference. So don't be arrogant. Just be confident. A really good example of this is, like, when you have confidence, it's the difference of, like, I'll give a really funny example. This is a real life example. I went to a job. It was a very big job. It was for the movie Goosebumps. It was like a promotional thing. And the two lead actors, it was Ryan Lee and Dylan Minnette. They were there. And then I was also working with Fiona Cush and Steve, oh gosh, why can't I think of it? Steve Prouty. Two really, really, really big makeup artists in our industry. So I was like, oh my God, like, this is a really big day for me. I was really nervous. And I forgot my brushes. So here's the difference of having confidence. Somebody asked me earlier, like, how do I gain confidence, over the years? This is kind of what I learned. This is something I learned through experience. There's a difference between confidence and having anxiety, and just having confidence and knowing how to deal with things like on the spot. I did not have my brushes, and so I, in my mind, went into panic mode, but I made sure that I was still confident about the situation at hand. And so I went to the producer and I was like, hi, I just need to go to a store really quick. Do I have time to, because there was an Ulta like down the street, just so happened. Do I have time to go to the store really quick? And the guy was like, yeah, sure. Like, it wasn't like, oh my God, I got to go to the store. Because there's differences between being like confident in like a mistake that you're making versus like frantic as hell. And it's all about a vibe thing. It's you got to bring that confidence and just calmness and positivity so that you don't freak people out. Same thing with if you mess up on somebody's eyeliner. If you're that artist that's like, oh shit, that eyeliner is just not working, they're like, ah, oh, damn it, like it's not going. Like, I've learned to not say a word if I mess up and be like, and I just go back to my table and I just do it. And nobody ever knows that I mess up. I mess up a lot. I get mascara on people's eyelids all the time, but nobody knows because I don't say a word and I don't change my demeanor. It's just a confidence like, oh, well, I know how to fix that. So, and I don't ever verbalize anything that's going wrong. And it's not an arrogance. It's not like I'm in the room now. I know what I'm doing. Like, it's not like that. Don't ever be like that. Alrighty, so I love to one-on-one would be great. Yes. Oh yes. I do one-on-ones. I don't do them. There's a very select few people that I do. Right now I only work with about 5 to 8 people per month. That's all I can do. I actually experienced an overnight shoot. Oh wow, in Agua Dulce, and it was freezing, which pushed me to think if this career was really worth it. And after 12 years on set, I realized this is exactly what I wanted to do, but understand what you mean about being uncomfortable. Absolutely. That would definitely raise some eyebrows if I, like, what in the hell am I doing here on this set? There's a shooting. Oh, I'm sorry. An overnight shoot. I read it as shooting, like gun shooting. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. An overnight shoot in Agua Dulce. I see what you're saying. Yes. When you are on, sorry, Kitty, you can't lay on my computer. When you're doing shoots like that, man, they're brutal. Now, here's something to kind of think about. Whoever said that, listen to that. Like, if you really were uncomfortable and if you really didn't like doing the overnight shoot, there's nothing wrong with that. Please note that if you want to do TV and film and you do an overnight shoot and you realize that you hate it, don't let that discourage you to maybe think of a different path, if that makes sense, and a different path in this industry. So, for instance, TV, like daytime television, you never do overnight. So that's an option for you. If you're like, fuck overnights, like I don't want to do overnights. Like, I'm just giving an example. I'm not saying that this is what you are feeling or anything like that. I'm saying this for anybody that might want to hear this. There are so many avenues of this industry that way back when I first moved here, I thought it was like a one, like all in or like all or nothing type of deal. I was told by somebody that was like, you have to be one type of makeup artist. You can't be a jack of all trades. And I don't agree with that whatsoever anymore, but I lived that for the longest time. And I really closed myself off for a very long time. So listen to your gut, listen to your intuition. If you realize outdoors during the cold is really not your thing, I would highly suggest, thinking about if you get offered a feature film that's going to be in New York in the middle of winter, things like that. So just take note of it and learn from that for your future gigs so that you can always be passionate about when you're on set. You're going to have, learning experiences are, priceless. So definitely don't, take that too much to heart. All right, I'm the same way. Just keep on working and stay calm. Good. That's a good thing. Very good thing. I remember at the very beginning of my career, I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I just messed up. And they'd be like, wait, what? And people don't like hearing that you're messing up. They just don't. They're like, wait, do you know what you're doing? All right, so the last C is competence. So when you're clear and you're confident, so your clarity is there, your confidence is there, your mind and body will just naturally feel competent about what you're doing. So these 3 C's will help you overcome resistance. So having clarity, having confidence, and feeling competent. Because here's the thing, confidence is, one thing, but feeling competent is another thing. And it is a very important feeling to have in your gut that you are competent to be a very professional makeup artist. You are worthy of being a successful makeup artist and making a lot of money and, you know, working with really big people, whatever it might be, what your dreams are. So yeah, that is the 3 C's. Moving on to page 8. This is where, if you don't have the workbook, unfortunately, you won't know what I'm talking about. You can write notes down if you want, but I'm actually going off of these lists that I've created. Whatever your goals are, your mindset will determine your outcome. So what that means is, for me, anything that I want to do, so say getting in the union, I'm just going to keep using this as an example. Getting in the union is a major goal of mine, as it is for many people. If I'm in the mindset of I'm not worthy, I'm not ready, I'm not responsible enough to be in the union, I'm not good enough to be in the union, I won't get in the union. Now, there are people that get in the union very, very quickly. Their perspective and their mindset are probably at a different like area. They, you know, sometimes it just happens. Like, you know, they didn't even like try for it to happen and they got on something that flips or whatever it might be. But some people are like so incredibly determined and they feel so worthy and deserving of being in the union that they just make it happen a lot faster than some people. So your mindset will determine your outcome. Mindset is everything. Your perspective is everything. So no matter how many workshops you take, how many education classes you take or trainings, if your mindset isn't in the right spot or the right place, there's nothing that you can do or learn that will actually help you manifest your goals. Because you guys, it's a very, very, very deep psychological and spiritual thing that happens where you just essentially make yourself resistant to everything. And I have experienced this firsthand. Like I was saying before, there was somebody that told me, you don't want to be a jack of all trades. And here's the thing. I looked back on my goals that I had set when I went to makeup school. So I went to cosmetology school in 2008. And then I went to makeup school for special effects in 2012. And I looked back on my goals in 2012, and what my goals were at that time were to get on an agency roster, be a men's groomer, and work on film sets. This particular person said, you can't do all of that. You will look like a fool if you're doing special effects, if you're doing beauty makeup, and if you're doing men's grooming and hair. People won't know what you are. And I really took that to heart. So I was like, okay, I guess film it is. Like, and I stopped pursuing my men's grooming, which I am like, just like shaking myself for, because I would be in a much different place if I would have continued to do everything that I wanted to do anyways. Don't ever listen to anybody that says that, by the way. Because Erin Kruger McCash, who is a massive idol of mine, I love her with all of my being. She told me in several interviews and in several conversations that you can do whatever you want, and it's, in her mind, you're more hireable if you can do more. So she actually hires off of people. She hires people that are more versatile. So people that can do beauty, that can do special effects, that can do glam makeup, that can do character makeup. So she wants somebody that's well-rounded, as a lot of people do. There are definitely some people that still agree with, you know, only doing one type of, you know, direction. Personally, I don't necessarily agree with that, just because even when I hire my team for, you know, films or shoots that I'm doing, I want people that I know can do a lot of things, that if for any reason I need to step away or they need to be there to do something that, like, for the last couple films that I did, I hired somebody that was good at hair, makeup, and special effects. So you become way more hireable when you have more things that you can do. I practice The Secret off and on, and I must say, positive thinking goes a long way. It really does. I was waiting for a check from the union for a month, and one day I just pictured the check in my mailbox, and it was there. That is so cool. I love it. I love it. I love these stories. I'm sorry, Amber, but whoever said this is completely wrong in film, TV, and commercial has to be a jack of all trades, especially in commercial. Exactly. I know. I'm not going to say who it was, though, because I don't want to call anybody out. And yes, Erin Kruger is absolutely amazing. She's been a huge supporter in her and Mike have been a very, very big support system for me. I was just at their place just the other day, and they were talking about, don't worry about, like, there's this whole thing with the union. So they're just amazing people. I want to do it all, Brandy says. Fashion, high fashion, and special effects, plus learn how to ventilate hair. Just so you know, ventilating hair, if you can ventilate hair, you will never be out of a job. So I highly suggest that. And work with wigs. That's amazing. Carrie heard it actually when we work on American Horror Story. She favors people that can ventilate. So definitely learn to ventilate. And working with wigs. She's the same way. She hires people that are well-rounded as well. So don't ever listen to somebody that says don't be well-rounded. Alrighty, so somebody said, oh yeah, the positive thinking goes a long way, and then the check. Just so you guys know, I remember, like, in all of my experiences the past few years of reading books and going like on these trainings and retreats and stuff like that, people talking about like, oh yeah, like I manifested a check in my mail, and I'd always be like, okay, like not that I thought that they were lying, but it was very like, okay, that's cool that it happened for you. It probably won't happen for me, but these last few months, which I'm going to share with you what I've been doing, have been like, I believe that wholeheartedly now. I'm like, oh, hell yeah. There was I've been doing a lot of meditation and Kundalini and crystal work and all these things. And out of the blue, I got like $250 of a check. And I don't know why I got it. I honestly have no idea why. It was from a job that had already paid me everything that was like on my invoice. And I don't even know what it was. I was just like, cool. I just got in $250. And what was the other thing? I don't even remember. There's been a lot of things happening lately that have been like, oh, this random check is now in the mail, which I'll have a lot of stories for you in a little bit with. The more you know, the more opportunities. When I was younger, I worked in so many restaurants and retail stores for the experience. And now as an artist studying film, makeup, and photography and aesthetics gives me the upper hand. The more knowledge, the better. Absolutely. Especially with aesthetics now. Aesthetics is becoming a really big thing. And you can use that as like a side gig, which is great for extra money. My grandpa used to tell me all the time, and I live by the words, the more you learn, the more you earn. Absolutely. That's why I read 1 to 2 books every single month, you guys. I'm thinking about doing not a book club, but like a book of the month within our Facebook group. So if you guys are interested in that, like, let me know. I'm like sweating over here. Sorry, guys. All right. So going to page 8, the mindset resource list. So I have compiled a resource list that I personally have had a lot of success with books and meditations, and then some other things that I'll go over. If you bought the workbook in the actual digital form, so when you just put it on your computer, these are all clickable. So really, really great, super easy to get to. So the first book is Success Principles by Jack Canfield. It's a really, really great book. Super long, but really, really great. I have some of them with me right now, and I'm going to show you guys for some visuals. We've got Abundance Now from Lisa Nichols. This is a really, really good book. I have this for the physical copy as well as the Audible. You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero. And to be honest, I wrote this down as 3rd. And these aren't necessarily in like any particular order, but I should have put this as number 1 because this is the number 1 book that I recommend to everybody, especially if you're new to kind of the like secret and the law of attraction world. I have this book. I've read it through it twice, and I've listened to the Audible 3 times. This book is amazing. I love it. I recommend this so, so much. Knowledge is key. We have amazing people in this webinar. Yes, we do. Absolutely. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Think and Grow Rich is actually a book that's like, I don't want to call it ancient because it's not ancient, but it's definitely one of the like OGs of the secret world and the law of attraction world. I highly suggest it. It's a little, I'm a very specific type of reader. Like it takes a certain type of writing for me to actually stick with reading something. Think and Grow Rich is a little bit harder, whereas like You Are a Badass is totally in my language. That's why I loved it so much. But Think and Grow Rich is very, very, very transformational. So you guys definitely check that one out. It's everybody kind of bases their whole success, like law of attraction teachings, I guess you could say, off of Think and Grow Rich. So I highly suggest that one. And then of course The Secret by Rhonda Byrne, which The Secret, personally, I like the documentary better than the book. That's just a personal preference. Ooh, Big Magic. Yes, that is a good one too. I have that on my bookshelf. And then we're going to talk about meditations. So these meditations are the ones that I have personally used and have shared with other people, and they've had similar experiences. So the first one is Financial Well-Being. These are all on YouTube, from Abraham Hicks. And if you got the upgrade, you're actually going to be receiving the Manifesting Makeup Artist meditation from me by Tuesday. So it's going to be really, really amazing. So the first one is Financial Well-Being Meditation. This one, if any of you guys are like Abraham Hicks fans, she's got a lot of books and things like that. And this particular meditation is for financial well-being. The second is Program Your Mind for Success Visualization. I love this visualization. I'm a guided visualization type of meditator. So I like hearing and being guided through my meditations. And this is a really great one specifically for success. So obviously we're all here to be successful, right? So I highly, suggest checking that one out. And then guided meditation for stress and anxiety for beginners. This one is really, really great for people that might be just kind of dipping their feet into meditation, and specifically with stress and anxiety. We all have stress and we have a lot of anxiety in this industry. So that's why I put that there. And then the last two, Headspace is the app on iPhone or Android, as well as Calm. Those two are really great for really like beginners because they're very short. They have a lot of short options, which is really, really great. Love the financial well-being meditation. Need to get back to doing it more. Yes. I've suggested that to so many people, and every person that because I always try to like suggest it to somebody, and then I always follow up with like, hey, how did it work? And I get nothing but amazing reviews on that one. So definitely check that one out. All right, so the next page. Oh, it says page 8 for every single page. What? I'm so sorry, you guys. The page numbers are messed up on the printout, so I'm sorry about that. All right, so the next page is mindset. So this is your resources. Those are still resources, but we're going to talk about techniques and tools. So I talked about yoga. Can't say enough good things about yoga. Yoga is all about balancing kind of the body and the mind, because usually our bodies are going so fast and our minds can't quite like keep up with it and be in alignment. So yoga really balances that and helps us. It's a form of meditation, and kind of doing mind and body work, which is a great, like really amazing. Another technique is gratitude journaling. So gratitude journaling, I have found, is very, very helpful, and it helps us bring our minds into a very positive, positive vibe, I guess you could call it. So writing out what you're grateful for. I try to write 3 things that I'm grateful for, or at least think about it every single day. And what that does is it just reminds us that we do have really amazing things in our lives, and that even more amazing things are going to be coming. So gratitude journaling is really, really great. Energy healing, there's a ton of ways to do energy healing, which are in the tools section that I'll go over, but energy healing is like really transformational if you're into that. Whether like chiropractor or Reiki or anything like that. Affirmations is a really great technique. I've definitely experienced with affirmations. I don't do them as often as I probably should, but because I always forget to say affirmations and things like that, I actually use my phone, the background of my phone, and put my affirmations on that if I'm like, I really want this affirmation to continue to be seen. Or I'll just kind of like put reminders or something like that, or an alarm. And then 5 vision boards. So 1 was yoga, 2 was gratitude journaling, 3 was energy healing, 4 affirmations, and then 5 vision boards. Vision boards was actually a part of, it was one of the days for our Manifesting Makeup Artist Challenge. And vision boards are very, very powerful. And our minds, especially like if you're really into this kind of stuff, like the third eye, we talk about the third eye. A lot of people speak of it as the mind's eye. What that means is we see with our eyes, right? But sometimes what we can do is even with our eyes open and we start thinking of a blue elephant, you start thinking of a blue elephant, but you're seeing it in your mind's eye. You're not seeing it like actually in the reality in front of you. So we are very visual people. And any type of invention started with a vision in our mind's eye, an idea, a dream, if you will. And vision boards are constant reminders to your brain and to your third eye or your mind's eye of goals that you have or dreams that you have. And what that does is it triggers a certain part of our brain psychologically to see opportunities that connect with these vision boards or these dreams or these goals that you have on your vision board. Now, we're all different human beings, so each one of us manifests in different ways. Like if you really want to get into like human design or something like that. So some people might be more visual. Some people might have a lot better experiences with affirmations and saying things out loud. They might be more audible than visual. Some people might have a lot better experience with writing things out. They might just be more of I want to write everything out and that's how I manifest. Or meditating, whatever your poison is. But vision boards, everybody kind of to the core, like naturally, we're all visual people. Vision boards tend to be very, very successful with achieving or manifesting your goals. Personally, I have vision boards, but I actually have more just like individual pictures. There's this website that I use. It's called Mind Movies. And I love movies. So vision boards where I have to like kind of put things together, I forget about it. So I actually have created a mind movie where I put and piece together music because I'm a very audible person, very musically inclined. I put together music that was soothing to my ear and got me in a certain state of mind. And there's pictures with affirmations. And that mind movie experience was very, very, very transformational for me. So figure out, what it is your body, how you manifest, I guess. Like what is it that you are more attracted to naturally? That's how you're going to manifest the easiest. So listen to your intuition. Definitely don't ever second guess your intuition. So tools are my favorite in this section. So crystals are absolutely out of this world. I got into crystals quite a bit, pretty like I dove pretty hard for a little while, about a year and a half ago. And I read this article about how crystals are more like mind over matter and that they're not real. Like, so I was like, that's a bummer. Like, I got really excited about crystals. No, And so I stopped doing anything with crystal work, where I would wear like a crystal in my pocket for a certain, purpose, or whatever. And this past 6 months, I got back into crystals, and I 100% believe in them. So this is something like, if you don't really care for crystals, that's all, like, dude, I understand, because I used to not really care for them myself, but I've experienced some absolutely out of this world things with crystals. And oh, say hi, Kitty. She's like, please, everybody, look at me. And crystals have changed my whole entire life. I don't ever go anywhere without having certain crystals with the purpose that I want for that day, my intention for that day. And I'm going to tell you some crazy ass stories in a second. So, guided meditations, talked about that. Beautiful, beautiful way to manifest or really get your mind and your body into the vibration to manifest your goals. 3, Kundalini yoga. So yoga is one thing. Yoga is amazing. No matter what you do, yoga, any type of yoga is going to be amazing for you. Everybody kind of has, like, there's so many types of yoga nowadays, but Kundalini yoga, if you're ready for it, is crazy. The whole purpose of Kundalini yoga is to really get your chakras. If you guys, know anything about chakras or are into that kind of thing, they align it in a just super, super, super fast way. I can't explain it better than that. But it's like manifesting on crack. I'll just put it that way. Ever since doing Kundalini yoga, I've manifested almost every single goal that has been like I said about the bucket list goals. It was all while I was doing Kundalini. So Kundalini, just so you guys know, it's very different. I tried Kundalini for the first time about a year and a half ago, and I don't want to say it creeped me out, but it definitely weirded me out. I was like, like, I don't know what I'm, like, there's chants that are in a different language. I'm not really into this. So it didn't resonate with me at that time. And then I started doing more modernized Kundalini with a gal named Brett Larkin. She's amazing. And it was transformational. She was the one that I did my yoga teacher training with. And I did a retreat with her for specifically Kundalini yoga. So ever since then, I have not ever gone more than a couple days without doing Kundalini. And it's, you guys, I've manifested the craziest things. We're talking like, I would do my Kundalini practice, and I would imagine while I was doing my Kundalini Kriya, like $7,000. I want to make $7,000 within the next 30 days, and I surpassed that by a lot. So you guys, Kundalini, if you really, are open to it, I highly suggest checking it out. And then obviously books and audiobooks are really, really great. And then the last one is moon cycles. Moon cycles I've also been getting into as well. And I'll share with you some really awesome things for moon cycles, because there's some crazy ass things with astrology that you can really kind of work to your benefit with manifesting. So some notes that I have here, some other tools that you guys can use is Reiki for energy healing, if you're into that. Candles, which I have a candle right here. It is the House of Intuition Love Come to Me. But this is actually, I decided to put this this candle on because my intention is to share my love with you guys. So I hope you guys are feeling that energy. Candles are really, really great, taking a bath and having candles that maybe, something like this have a very specific intention, or maybe a color that you resonate with, like red or blue or white or whatever. EFT is the emotional freedom tapping. I got into that for a little while, and it works. It definitely works. It's a Chinese medicine technique where you tap in different points under, on different meridians. It's ancient. It's an ancient technique. And I've seen it work. However, it's very time consuming, and Kundalini yoga like trumps that by like a lot. So I decided like Kundalini is the winner. But EFT is amazing as well. And then mirror work is something, if you guys have looked into that. I haven't gotten too much into mirror work, but just know that it exists, which is just looking at yourself in the mirror and saying, you are amazing, you're worth it, whatever. And to be honest, like, I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but when I'm in the bathroom, like, I usually kind of like steer away from the mirror. So it's very, very, very powerful work. So I highly suggest checking it out. All right, there's a lot going on in the chat. Let's see. Any recommendations on how to clear your mind to meditate? I try and think of all the things going on in life and I can't concentrate. Here's the thing. I'm the same way. Find what works for you. If what works for you is being in silence and just listening to yourself breathe, that's fine. There's so many different ways to meditate. If a guided meditation helps, try that. If just listening to certain types of music, there's so many different types of music that you probably prefer, that can help. And then, you can also try, meditating at different times of the day. You might be better at meditating at the beginning of your morning. I'm a horrible morning person, so I don't get up any earlier than I need to. So I meditate at night. And to be honest, what I would do is just get in the flow of doing meditation every single night. Like, start with 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever you're comfortable with at a specific time if you can, every night, whether it's before you go to bed or, I don't know, whatever. Something to remember is, like, meditation doesn't always have to mean that you are, like, zen as fuck. Like, it's not necessarily about that. It's just calming your mind and just kind of trying, just like letting your thoughts go. So if you have a lot of thoughts coming in, take note of that and accept those thoughts and then just listen to your breathing again. You can also try saying the words Sat Nam. Try that. And you can say it out loud or you can say it in just your head. Kundalini might work for you because you're actually doing yoga while you're meditating, so it doesn't feel like meditating. And I think that's why I was drawn so much to it, because I like guided meditations for the reason of listening to something and visualizing it very specifically and seeing colors and hearing things and all that kind of stuff. I can't meditate with no sound or even just music. I have to have something guiding me. So I hope that answers your question. Try those things. Vision boards are so helpful. I'll be doing mine on Tuesday, January 1st. It's a great way to start the new year. Yes, you're going to be getting, if you got the upgrade for the workbook upgrade, you'll be getting your meditation on the 1st as well. Woo, to the new year. Vision boards were helpful to me. I revamped my vision board on the new moon. Yes! Yes, a new mooner! I love it. Love so many people are doing this. Dude, the new moons, you guys, are absolutely out of this world. I just started getting into new moon meditation ritual stuff. Funny, I started mine for Amber's challenge and stupidly as sticking my icons on there, I started to feel doubt and not worthy of these things. We'll change that. Thanks for the webinar. I will create my new vision board and feel worthy of all my visions. Yes, that brings a really great point. You guys can have some really great visions, but if you don't feel worthy, you have to like rate these visions from a 1 to 10 and only go with the visions for now. Only pursue wholeheartedly these visions that have a 5 or above. It's just science. It's psychology. You're not going to go after the super ambitious, like, perfect example. When I really first started getting into this energy work and mindset work, I was like, I want to make $500,000 a year. And people that I would study under were like, go for $1 million, go for whatever. Like, and they would say like, go super out there, be super ambitious. Don't let anything hold you back. Now, here's the thing. When people say don't let anything hold you back, there's so much in our subconscious that actually is holding us back. And that's where energy work and mindset work come in. So when you're doing your goals, your dreams, and your vision boards, by all means, go all out. However, for me, $500,000 a year, actually, to me, is just like there's something about that doesn't resonate with me right now and making it actually achievable. So you do have to kind of like do baby steps, unless you are willing to like really fucking go for it. And we'll get into the digesting of everything in a little bit. So I hope that kind of made sense with what I was saying. Do it because you are. Oh my God, I usually have tourmaline in my bra. Yes, tourmaline is great. Tourmaline helps with protection. Protection is really, really great. I love tourmaline. Okay, so moving on. It's not page 8. I don't know what page it is, but it is the new moon manifesting page. So this page, I have started doing new moon meditations and rituals this past year. And they're really, really very insightful. They're very healing. There's also the full moon meditation, but I only put the new moon because it's specifically about manifesting. So January 6th is our new moon. So basically, the moon has a gravitational pull, and it affects so much that it affects the tide of our waters. Now think of this. Our bodies are made of, like, I don't know, 70 or 60% water, or however much percent water. So if the ocean and the waters just in general are being affected by the moon, how can we deny that we as human beings that are made up of a lot of water are not affected by the moon? So just think of that. And that was like a really like aha moment for me. So I was like, holy shit, that's amazing. So this particular new moon meditation, I actually got from a book called Moonology by Yasmin. I forget her last name. So January 6th is the new moon. I highly suggest you guys do this. If you've got the workbook, this is all there. But if you don't have the workbook, you can look this up or something like that. So it's a 8-step process. So basically you start out by like kind of calming yourself down, meditating, things like that. You write down 5 to 10 things that you're grateful for. And then think carefully about 10 wishes or intentions that you have for the next 4 weeks, because the new moon starts a different cycle. And new moons are all about manifesting your desires, your dreams, and your intentions. So you write 10 things that you want to, manifest for the next 4 weeks. And then you read through each one of these intentions, each one of these goals, and you rate each one 1 to 10. This is what I was just talking about. And every single one 1 to 100. And every single one that has a 50 or below, just cross it off for that month, for that 4-week time period. And any of them that are 50 or above, that's what you're going to be focusing your intentions on, your goals. Because if you're not really feeling it, it's just not going to work. Just like the $500,000 a year didn't resonate with me, because I have a lot of financial blocks, and $500,000 actually was not feasible in my subconscious mind. Like, who the hell am I to make $500,000? So what I learned from that is, okay, let's rate that intention. That was like a 2. Like, do I actually think that I could make that one? Probably not. So take that right off of your list, and then do that for everything else. And then go back through the new updated 50 or above list. And then between each one of those, you just write how you're going to make that happen. So if you're like, hell yeah, I feel great about getting in the union this year, you just write out what you're going to do for, to achieve those goals. And then you'll meditate for 15 minutes. I love doing new moon meditation specifically. There's a lot out there. You can definitely check some out. And write down any meditation or messages that come through your meditation. I highly suggest writing these down, because I've gotten some really, really insightful messages through my subconscious mind while meditating, specifically on new moons too. So, and then you want to keep the journal or the paper, or whatever it is that you're writing these new moon rituals on, so you can go back and kind of see what you've actually accomplished. The last new moon meditation I did, I accomplished every single one on those. So, and I've been working with people one-on-one, and this is one of the things that we do is the new moon meditation. And I have had nothing but absolutely amazing feedback specifically on the new moon meditations. So I highly suggest you guys get into that. So now we're going to move on to crystals. So this is where let's see, we're good on time. Well, good-ish on time. We're at the 2-hour mark. This is where I have had some ridiculous experiences with. Like I said before, I started getting into crystals, and then I came across a article that was like crystals are fake, and then I stopped kind of getting into them, and I started getting back into them because of how powerful these experiences I've had with myself and my boyfriend, and a lot of people that I've shared these techniques with. So these things work. All right. So in your workbook, you have a mini crystal basics page. It's just one page. I chose 5 crystals that I really feel like would resonate with the majority of people, whether you're new to crystals or whether you're, kind of, you've been in the game for a little while. So the first one is citrine. And basically there's like all the different descriptions. It's energizing, it brightens the mood, attracts prosperity, boosts confidence, all that stuff. Amethyst, which is really great for raising your vibration. It shifts negative thought patterns. So if you have any, like, if you really do feel negative and you tend to always are really down on yourself and have a lot of self-doubt, amethyst is really, really great for that. Also helps calm anxiety and any type of sleep disorders, which, anxiety usually, with sleep disorders, anxiety is usually the stem of that, so that kind of makes sense. Pyrite, which is actually fool's gold, that's what people usually call it, is fool's gold. It helps you thrive, push through your obstacles, and succeed. It attracts money and wealth and prosperity, and it's really great for manifesting. And clear quartz, which is kind of like a magnifier. It amplifies energy, which is really awesome. It channels energy, and it's a very, very, I love crystal. I feel like clear quartz is a pretty common, clear quartz and amethyst, I feel like the 2 most common, in my opinion, crystals that a lot of people use. And the last one, which is like a super bonus, and this is for people that really, really, really are like wanting to get into crystals or like dive even more into crystals, which is cinnabar. Cinnabar, ever since I've had cinnabar, my career has just, with Kundalini, my meditation work, and then these crystals, it's outrageous. And powerfully, and I asterisked powerfully in the workbook, attracts wealth and prosperity and creativity. And abundance and money. It strengthens the feelings of personal power. So you've got your confidence, your capability, your will, and your ambition. Major energy boost and creative ideas and flow. This was between this and Moldavite, which Moldavite is kind of like, we'll have to go over that a different day. Cinnabar is like, I personally think every single makeup artist should have this. Now, I'm going to tell some stories while I have a second. So this is cinnabar. Cinnabar, it's a cinnabar quartz, which is these little red speckles. That's cinnabar, and kind of like the greenish, that's cinnabar. And the white is the quartz. So it's made together. I don't know how they make it together. I think it's just like it grows that way. And I just have this little like tumbled stone. Okay. And then I also have blue kyanite. So these two, the way that I wear these, and I'm really getting detail with you guys because I want you guys to experience this if you can yourselves. I wear blue kyanite if I'm really like, I need another job or I need some money or like I'm really like trying to attract here or get creative ideas, whatever. I will wear blue kyanite in my left pocket, which I'll go over in a second because I didn't write it in the basics. And then I will wear the cinnabar in my right pocket. And anytime that I wear these, specifically on those, I don't know why, I get crazy jobs. And we're talking, like jobs that are $700 a day or more. When I was wearing this, I've gotten the last 3 jobs where they were like feature films where I would make like $6,000 or more for that, 4-week time period. Things like that, where it's just like massive chunks of money that are just, and then when I would, like that check that I told you guys about where I just randomly got a $250 check, I was wearing this little combination. And every time that these things would happen, I was like, what the hell? This is so crazy. Like, I'm doing all this Kundalini as well, so that probably has something to do with it energetically. However, one of the days I was like, you know what? I haven't worn this in a couple days, and this was like, oh God, December 19th is what the day was. It's like past December 19th. And I was like, you know what? I'm not booked for the rest of this year. But I kind of want to test like the waters. Like, am I just thinking this, or like what's going on here? So I wore these, and that day I got a parking ticket. Not a parking ticket, a ticket from like a toll or something like that. That was like way past due, and it was totaled $300. So I'm like, oh my God, this is terrible. I have a $300 ticket, and what am I going to do? Within minutes, and I'm talking minutes, I got an email from the job that I had just finished that because I didn't add overtime hours from this particular project, that I was $280 short on my invoice. So they had me add $280 for my invoice. So there's $280. Okay, great. And then I get an email from somebody that wanted to work with me one-on-one, and it was another like couple $100. So I was like, oh my God. Well, there you go. $300. There you go. I already manifested it right back. And later that day, because remember I had said at the beginning of the day, I was like, well, I don't know, like if I could get a job for the rest, like, I don't know. I have nothing booked until mid-January. Like maybe I'll get something. Who knows? I ended up getting a call that day for a feature film that would essentially get me my days for union, but it was like the amount of money per like the 4-week time period was going to be like over $6,000. So this is amazing. Now, another testimonial about this. I was like, okay, this is my experience with this, right? So Kenneth, he likes crystals and he wears crystals, but he's kind of like, oh, this is cool. Like, this is a fun experience. He's not like super into it the way that I am. So he was working at his part-time job, which is like a paint and wine type of place. And usually they have a tip jar, but he doesn't usually get tips. And if he does, a $20 tip for the night is like a big deal. So I was like, because he was really upset about going, and I was like, you know what? Let's sage these, because that's how you cleanse these. And I'm going to show you a trick that I've been doing, and maybe it'll work for you too. So I give him the blue kyanite. He puts it in his left pocket, same, and then he puts the cinnabar in his right pocket. And later on, he comes back home, and I'm like, so how did it go? Like, how did your tips go? And he looks at me and he says, I made $97 in tips. And I immediately started laughing, because it was like, he barely gets tips, and if he does, $20 is a lot. So when he said $97, 97, almost $100, I was like beside myself. I was like, you're joking. Like, is this real? So he and I were laughing about it, and we still laugh about it. And ever since then, I bought him a crystal. And then he doesn't have blue kyanite, but he has green kyanite. And ever since then, he's gotten no less than $25 in tips. So just goes to show, you can think what you want about these things. I personally think that these work, and I've gifted these for other people, and they've seen the same thing happen. And if anybody's interested, I'm starting to put this little manifesting makeup artist package together, where these come along with sage and a digital download of what it takes, as well as the meditation that I'm going to be putting together for anybody that has purchased either of the upgrades. So you can, once this is done, there's like a little link below that if anybody wants these, I'm putting packages together where these are what you get. Alrighty. So I'm going to go through the, let's see, the chat. Is anybody, let's see. Money is great, but the feeling of getting up in the morning, happy to go to work and do what you love is a dream. Absolutely. Is it important where you purchase your crystals from energy-wise? Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Here's the thing. Depending on how, in tune you are with yourself, the moment you walk in somewhere, you'll feel it. There's a particular place, and I don't want to say it because I don't want to offend anybody if they like this place. There's a metaphysical shop that's in Sherman Oaks, and there's just a little bit of a dark vibe to it, and I would get my crystals from there, but I started going to this other place in Burbank. So all of you Californians out here, It's called the Crystal Shrine. Amazing, amazing vibe. But yes, I do think wherever you get your crystals from, especially if it's a high vibe crystal place, high vibe crystal that you're trying to get, like if you're ever trying to get moldavite, you got to make sure it's from a source that is accredited, because moldavite is a whole nother topic. And there's a lot of fake ones out there. So yes, it does. It definitely does matter. I want to pick up some crystals, but I'm very cautious of where to purchase them from. That's good to be cautious. That's really good. Cleanse and charges. Maybe Amber can recommend places. I heard Green Man in North Hollywood is good. Green Man in North Hollywood is good. I would highly, highly suggest going to Burbank. It's called the Crystal Shrine. It is very, very good energy. Depending on which ones you want, they pretty much have everything. When do you cleanse and charge your crystals? That's a great question. I usually do it off of intuition. The moment I buy any crystals, I always sage them. If it's moldavite, that one actually recharges in the sun. So I usually wear it every day. Every day I'm going outside and it's exposed to the sun, it's being recharged. You can do full moon recharges as well. I've never done those ones, but you can do that. Yes, sage them first and place outside under full moon, sometimes 12 hours, then spray it with Florida water. Ooh, Florida water. And smudge again with Palo Santo. Palo Santo is good. I actually have that right here. I've got both my sage and my Palo Santo right next to me. And I need a quick charge. I'll put them in a window under bed with some brown rice. I've never heard of brown rice. Let's see. Thanks so much for all your info. You're welcome, everybody. So yeah, personally, like I actually did a ton of research when I was buying the crystals to put little packages together. So the ones that I'm getting are definitely like legit. So if anybody wants this particular combination, I'm putting together like, the whole bundle. You get a little sage bundle, you get the and the 2 crystals, and then what it takes digital download and the meditation. So it's kind of like I'm calling it the Manifesting Makeup Artist bundle or package. So a lot of really, really great things that can help amplify just your life in general. Blue kyanite, really quick, before I move on, I want to share with you guys what blue kyanite is. This is my reference book. It's called Charge Your Energy. Blue kyanite, where are you? Okay. It improves ability to think, articulate ideas, communicate effectively, and recall information. Offers powerful protection from psychic attack. Strengthens intuition and your ability to understand divine guidance, and it's good for throat illnesses. So that is blue kyanite. And there's something about that stone, I don't know what it is. If you ever see it in person, there's like this, you can't see it. Can you guys kind of see that twinkle? You see how it like reflects? It's a beautiful, beautiful stone. And you don't have to recharge this one, which is amazing. So personally, I feel intuitively that it amplifies. So with everything that I described about cinnabar, this is help amplifying it. And you can meditate with them too. Now, here's the thing about cinnabar. Because the red spots are mercury, you do have to be careful with, if you're holding it in your hands for a long period of time, you want to wash your hands. Or anywhere on bare skin, you want to wash it afterwards. All right. Cool. So somebody says, yes, please, I would love a package. Please give me more info. The info for the packages are just below this video. So whenever this workshop ends, you can just scroll down and there's 3 images, and there's the one for the workshop package, the workshop upgrade package, and then there's the Manifesting Makeup Artist package, that's the crystal package. All right. So that was a lot of information about crystals and moon cycles and meditation. So those are some amazing tools and techniques that have really amplified my manifesting abilities this past 6 months, that I've played around with, I've shared with other people, and I've seen work with in multiple ways. So I really hope that really helps you guys and gets your guys's minds opening about this and wanting to kind of look into it more if you don't already look into this type of stuff, so that whatever your goals are, these tools can help amplify the shit out of them. So I'm here to help you guys really, really, really manifest your goals, okay? So moving on to the next page. This is all about dreaming big. So basically, this whole section is to really visualize and get your mind flowing with specifically your dreams, and getting specific with how you can achieve them, with the end goal like in mind of how you want to feel, because feeling into things are very powerful as well. So the first question on this section is, how do you want to feel? You know, with these goals that you have for 2019, how do you want to feel? Do you want to feel abundant? Do you want to feel financially stable? Do you want to feel successful? Do you want to feel happy, excited, proud? What is it that you want to feel? We want to make sure that we associate our goals with a feeling, so that this also helps amplify manifestation and bring it essentially to fruition a lot quicker. So something that I put is, I want to feel abundant. I want to feel light. I want to feel clean. I want my skin to feel clear. I want my mind to feel clear, and I want to be happy. So that is what I want to feel in 2019. So the next question is, what does your dream day look like? So I'm asking this question because you have to really foresee what your dream day looks like, so that you know how to get there. So is it, you're going on a 12-hour day and just loving every single minute, and you're working with people that you love? Is it working an 8-hour day because you don't like working 8 or 12-hour days? Is it, being surrounded by people you love? Is it, I don't know. What does your dream day look like? For me, I put being or working with people I love on a beautiful sunny day, because I love sun, working during the day, being paid well, and being with family in the evening. So that is what my dream day looks like. I love family, and I love being around close friends, and I want that balance. That's something that that's what I strive for, is a lot of balance in my life. Okay, so the next question, is there an artist's life who inspires you specifically? And what elements of their life, if any, inspire you? This is also kind of another way to get your mind really thinking about the specifics of what you want in your life. So for me, I put Erin Kruger McCash, and I put that her happiness, her gratefulness, her support system, and her talent all inspire me. And that's what I aspire to be as an artist. I want to support other artists. I want to be positive all the time. I want to never look at people as competition and look at them as colleagues. She is huge on, she always has said in many, many, many interviews and situations that I've been in with her, that she hires people that she feels are stronger or more talented than her, because she wants a strong team. And what a strong team is everybody is working together and learning from each other. And she doesn't, it's so funny because there's a lot of older makeup artists that look at the younger crowds as like, oh, they're taking all of our jobs and they're doing it for cheaper and we don't like them. They're ruining our industry. But Erin is like, hell yeah, bring them in. Like, I want to learn from these people. These are awesome people. Like, and she doesn't, and here's the thing, look at her success. Look how successful she is. She's so successful that now she's promoted to being a producer with Ryan Murphy and got an award, an Emmy, for being a producer, aside from being an Emmy-winning makeup artist. I mean, I think that says a lot about, her, and she has nothing to worry about. So I want to be like that, which I'm sure a lot of people do. Love Erin. She's always super nice and kind every time I talk to her, and always humble. She's seriously the most humble person that I know. She doesn't say a bad word about anybody. Not that I'm like, when I'm with her, like I'm like sitting there talking shit or anything, but she Oh my gosh, she's always talking so many good things about like everybody. She doesn't ever have anything bad to say about anybody. All right, so the next question, are there any people or idols you would like to meet or connect with in the upcoming year or even further? I put Carrie Green, she's kind of in the business world. Paul McCartney, that would be a dream, right? Lisa Eldridge, I would love to connect and meet with her. Krista Mitchell, she's the author of this book, which actually I have some stuff coming along with her that might happen. Hold my fingers crossed for that. And then Brett Larkin, who is the yoga teacher I've been talking about. She was the one I did the Kundalini, well, my yoga teacher training with. And I'm hoping and keeping my fingers crossed for a future partnership with her that you guys will also be a part of. So that is for the year to come, the people I would like to meet or connect with. Wouldn't that be amazing? If I ever met Paul McCartney, I would die. All right. There's a question. Amber, between your DVD, webinars, and challenges, I'm deeply grateful for all you do for us. Thank you for sharing. My brain is sizzling with goals I want to meet. Thank you for all the webinar as well as your replies. Absolutely. Of course. You guys, I am here for you. Here's the thing. There's a very, very big hole in the industry that needs to be filled. And that is support. And not being like, this is my secret, my trade secret. Like, I am here for you guys. There's a lot of goals that I've accomplished, but it's not like I don't still struggle. You know, people in the documentary, if you guys have seen it, I'll talk about, Joel Harlow, when we interviewed him, he was talking a lot about how he still is like, oh shit, am I gonna have another job after this? And Lady Gaga's makeup artist, Sarah Tanner, was saying the same thing. Like, these massively successful people still have the intimidation of not having a job, or, oh my God, like, what's next? And so we all go through that. It's just something that for whatever reason is not ever talked about. So I am shedding light on that. So I'm more than happy to be the one that does that. Hell yeah to that. I wasn't saying that I'm threatened, but I do wish I didn't feel like it was a competition. I'm 35, and there's a few older artists here that really act like there's not enough room for us, and there so is. There is, exactly. She is a new artist, biggest fan. She inspires many. She pasted all over she's pasted all over my vision board. Were you, newest, biggest, she's new. Who are you talking about? Are you talking about Sarah Tanner? Maybe? Okay. So moving on. So we're gonna talk about furthering. So this was kind of all about like 2019 and like what our goals are for kind of like our career is what we've really been talking about. So I want to push you guys more, and I'll explain why in a second. So I want you to describe your dream home. So what is it, maybe you already are in your dream home, depending, on where you're at in life. And, if you, I don't know, people have all different situations. Me and a lot of us living in Los Angeles, we're in apartments, small apartments at that, paying a lot for them. And so for me, my dream home is just to be in a home, really, but specifically a 3 or 4 bedroom home with very, very tall ceilings, and it being white and bright, and having plants everywhere, and specifically having a studio space for makeup, doing like photo shoots and things like that, as well as having a business space. So, and also a garage and a backyard. So that right now is my dream home. And that for me is unfortunately very expensive here in Los Angeles. Now, going back to Indiana, I could probably get like a mansion for, what I could potentially afford here. Paying almost $2,000 a month would get you a mansion back in Indiana. So definitely, take some time on this, because wherever your home is, we tend to spend a lot of time in our homes. So we want to make sure that whatever, you're striving to be for your home really reflects on the energy of you, and so you can be in a good state of mind as often as possible. because it's where you sleep at night. You know, you want good energy and good vibes. My 44-year-old friend with 5 years experience just got in. That's amazing. Well, good for her. Oh, Erin, she says. Yes, Erin is probably, yeah, I think a lot of us have her on our vision board. She's out of this world. She's so amazing. And then, are there any places that you dream of visiting? So I actually really want to travel a lot this year. And Maui, Hawaii is one of mine on my list, and also Fiji. And actually, I forgot to write this Italy because I'm Italian and I have family there and I want to go visit. So those are my places that I'm dreaming of visiting. Now, if you want to write this as if it's, you know, a business venture, you can. But I highly suggest doing it just for yourself because we do need time for ourselves and we need some break time. Okay. Love Italy. Yes. We have the same dream home vision. I have pics all over my board. Backyard, high ceiling, studio space. Exactly. Good. High five to you, whoever was saying that. Same vision. Brandy said, love Italy. I want to go so bad. I'm sure that I'll love it too. All right, so the next question is, how do you want your life to be? This is a very, very broad question. When I was answering this myself, I was like, wow, that's a really broad question that I asked. But there's a reason for it. Because whatever comes to mind first, intuitively, is meaningful. So I put that I want to be able to buy things with no hesitation or guilt. The guilt thing is actually a pre-programmed block, if you will, that I grew up with, that, you know, you can't buy that because you don't really have the money. So that's been programmed in my mind, that buying things is not good. And something that I want for my life is sharing my knowledge with people and my inspiration with people. I love buying gifts for other people, so that's something that I really want for my life, is being able to continue buying lots of gifts for other people that are in my life. I want to travel frequently, not like all the time, but, you know, frequently. And I want to have yoga and meditation very, very active in my life, and working, of course. And then, of course, you know, everything with what it takes. That is how I want my life to be, in a nutshell. Looking back at 2018 workbook, it's crazy to see some of my goals that I have accomplished. A big one was building a workshop in the back. That's awesome. So were you a part of last year's workbook? I'm sorry, last year's workshop for 2018? I don't know what happened to my workbook that I did last year. I was trying to find it and then compare, but I don't know what I did with it. That's awesome. I love that. See, that's the power of like writing everything down and keeping it so that you can compare. And the new moon rituals are great for that because it's every 4 weeks. So it's amazing to kind of like look back on things. All right, so here's a really, really great question. And I want you to be really honest with yourself, because here's the thing. Like I said earlier, I wrote that I wanted to make $500,000 because I was told, dream big, or go small, or whatever. Go big or go home. That's what it is, not go big or go small. And so I wrote 500,000 when I didn't actually feel that. Like, it wasn't actually feeling good. It was like, oh, okay, sure. And so whatever you write in here, just really like think about it and feel into it, and write what actually comes to you that you feel is achievable. So for me, I put 100,000 by September 2019. So when you write in a certain amount by a certain time that is in your mind feasible, you are like 10 times likelier to achieve that. So personally, I'm kind of to the point where like $10,000 a month is very very achievable for me at this point. And so $100,000 by, you know, September is actually like pretty good, and I don't feel intimidated by that. Whereas $500,000, I'm like, okay, what do I have to do? What do I have to do to get that? So it's possible. $500,000 a year is obviously 100% possible. However, you do have to believe it, and you always have to realize and accept the work that goes into making that much money. So just remember that. All right. So I've already I'm a huge goal setter. So I already have like 2019, like every month of my goals of what I would, how much to make and what to do. But I'm going to share with you guys a little technique that I started doing a couple years ago that really helps digest this. So thinking about your dream house, wherever you're living in, like how much would that cost? So just have that in the back of your mind so that you can kind of start training your brain of like, okay, so how much would I have to make in order to achieve that dream house? If it's like $1 million home in Studio City and you're kind of far from that, just keep that in your 5-year goal span or something. Just be realistic with yourself. But after that, we're going to break down how much we have to make and what we have to do every single month in order to make that. So these income goals become truly tangible and digestible. Because if you don't understand what you're even going for, if you're like, I want to make $5,000 a month, but you don't have any direction with it and you don't understand how many gigs you have to, book with the rates each day, it's just like you have no direction whatsoever. Oh, 10,000 a month. Good for you, girl. Thank you. Thank you very much. It took a very long time. You guys, I'm telling you, Kundalini, crystals, and meditation. Bam. You've got your $10,000 a month. Seriously, ever since doing that, that's kind of been the theme for me. So whatever you put in your income goals, your yearly income goals. So if it was $50,000, if it was $40,000, if it was $100,000, if it was whatever it is, if it's $500,000, whatever it is that you put, divide that. I'm sorry, I'm going a little too fast here. I think I wrote that out of order, but there's a little budget sheet. It's like one of the last sheets that you can fill out. Either you can do this now or later, or if you've already done it, great. But it's a budget sheet that just helps you kind of like write everything out that is your monthly budget to see how much money you actually have to make to live. So for me, that was roughly like between $3,000 and about $3,500, depending on the month and certain things that come up for like clothes. Like I don't buy clothes every single month. I don't buy education every single month. So there's like fluctuation there. So that is what I pay in just bills. So I went ahead and put for myself that I have to make $4,500 a month just to feel comfortable. So with the $3,000, that's $1,500 of, the what ifs, car shit, buying more clothes that you need if things are breaking, or if you have to fix anything, or if you just want to buy nice things for that month, whatever it might be, $1,500 as a cushion. So $4,500 a month is what I personally have to make to feel comfortable. If it's anything lower than that, and it's true, like if I get in the $3,000 range, I'm like, I don't have enough money, even though $3,000 actually is plenty of money. So that just kind of like gives you puts it in perspective for you guys of how something just happened with the computer. Is everybody hearing me okay? Just glitched or something. Feel free to say something in the chat if you guys can still hear me and see me. So the next question. Okay, cool. Brandy says all good. Awesome, thank you. So the next question is, what is your income goal for 2019? So for me, I put $120,000, whatever your income goal for your year is, and just divide it by 12. So if your income goal is, I think it's $60,000, we'll say. I think it's, what would that be? $30,000 a month. I'm sorry, not a month. Is that right? Is it $3,000 a month? I think it's 3,000. No, I'm sorry. I'm on the chat right now, so I can't do math. I don't want to X out of it, or else I will lose you guys. But if I, were to be making $10,000 a month, for example, that would bring me to $100,000 a year. So if you have, say, $2,000 a month for your goal, what that turns out to be is $24,000 a year. And here's the thing. When we're first starting out, you guys, I've been doing this for 11 years, and I've been doing very intense energy work. So I feel comfortable with these numbers. If that scares you, don't, let what I'm saying scare you or make me come out to be like, I'm making a lot of money. It's not like that. For the longest time, I was only making like below $15,000 a year. So it wasn't very, very long ago that was my case. So there's no judgments here for anybody. And if you want to make more than $120,000, $150,000, then that is amazing. So dividing that by 12. Now what this does is it gives you your monthly goal, your monthly income goal for the 12 months. And now you can see what you need to do to break away or kind of digest, if you will, what you need to do to hit that goal, that monthly goal. So, for example, if I want to make $10,000 a month, what that would mean for me is I would need to do 20 gigs at $500 a day. Okay? So this is like something that for me was a very big aha moment of my life, of my career, because this really, really helps clear everything up. So if you have a higher day rate than that, sometimes, my rate for sure goes higher than that. So you can kind of like play around with some numbers. So, maybe the day rate goes to $1,200. So 1,200 divided by 10,000, however many gigs, I mean, it's a lot less than 20, right? So, $1,000. So we'll just say, just for easy math, because I don't have a calculator with me, if I had $1,000 day rate, then I would just do 10 gigs for the month. If my rate was $350 a day, there would be, to be honest, for that month, I'd have to go higher than that. And I think you guys get what I'm saying here. So you want to really break down the monthly goal into how many days. So if you want to work very little, you don't want to work very many days, then you have to figure out and really be confident about asking for a higher rate. And if you're really far from that, there's a lot of other ways that you can get money. So you can have a side job, you can have a hobby that you sell online on like Etsy or something like that. I was just talking to somebody last night, I believe. There's a girl who she paints skulls and she sells them, which is really, really cool. Me personally, I have this as a business. So I do have side money from a side business. So there's that. And then let's see what else. I mean, you can do things like, if you do work a retail job or a corporate job or a 9-to-5 job, there's that income as well. So there's a lot of ways that you can make money. So, keep that in mind for sure. You can do, if you're really like super ambitious about hitting high numbers and you're not really getting freelance work, January can be kind of a little like not too busy. And towards the end, it gets busier. But for freelance, if you're not really busy at the beginning of the year, don't worry. There's a lot of options that you can use. So Postmates is something, especially if you're, I think the bigger cities have Postmates where you're just delivering food to people. Might as well, right? You can go onto Fiverr.com, Fiv as in Victor, ERR.com. And if you're really good at, say for instance, like say I needed somebody to proofread this or something, like I could pay somebody to proofread that. So if you're really good at proofreading, why not? Like you could just proofread for people on the side, and it's kind of like you can work at whatever time you want. They have like graphic designing if you're into graphic designing. If you are good with photography, you could do some headshots on the side. There's a lot of different options. You just got to get really creative if, it's just about really pushing yourself. Okay? All right. So, I think that next, I can't remember if that's this one. The next sheet, wait a second. No, the next sheet was the budget sheet. So make sure you go through this so you can really get clear on what your budget is. That really, really helps and puts in perspective what you need for yourself to live. So the next section is all about getting clear. So we talked about our goals for 2019. We talked about what it is inside of us that might be resisting these goals, how we can achieve them, and also a bigger picture. What is it within ourselves? Like, what are these goals in our life that we're trying to achieve? So if you want to achieve a very big home, you do have to have a certain lifestyle. You do have to make a certain amount of money. So what do you have to do to get there? These next prompts, these next questions are kind of just reflective of that. So what are some micro goals that you could achieve to get to your monthly goal? So this is all about really, really breaking down our goals. And the more we can break them down into smaller goals that are actually feasible and actually like achievable, you are going to soar. Because what happens when we set goals and we write, like we cross those goals or those to-do lists off, there's a sense of dopamine, a surge of dopamine that goes into our brain and basically makes us feel good. So I'm here to show you guys how to get your goals, set smaller goals, and then set micro goals that you can achieve them. So for me, I put to get promotions together. So putting together a promotion calendar, and that has to do with what it takes. So there's a lot going to be going on for 2019. So I already have kind of compiled ideas and things like that, and started the process of switching over to YouTube. So little steps, and it felt so good, you guys, to get all that YouTube stuff done. Oh my God. And just crossing it off, I was like, hell yeah, like that part's done. Now it's like the next part. You don't have to do everything at once. And don't be hard on yourself if you're not achieving all these things in a super rapid pace, because everything takes time, and there's a sense of patience that has to happen. So networking is kind of more of a micro goal for me. Networking I need to be better about, but it's very easy to do with social media being so easy to access. So networking was kind of a micro goal for me. And sending emails and texts. This is so simple. Sending emails and texts to people that you've worked with in the past is very, very easy. And it's also very, very easy to email or message, in certain cases, people that you want to work with. So that should be a micro goal, because those little steps will bring you to a really great outcome and bring in really amazing opportunities. If you're doing all this mindset work that I've been talking about, plus you're doing all of these, you're going to see the most amazing opportunities coming your way that you are going to be like, what in the world is happening to me right now? So never underestimate yourself and what you can do when your mindset is in good standing and in positive energy, and taking those little goals and achieving them. Like these little goals that are so simple, but when you achieve those, your brain is like, hell yeah, I can achieve anything. And then it's just a whole domino effect. All right. Do you have anything that's currently holding you back? Is there anything legitimately holding you back? Is there a significant other that is making you not move because when you want to move? Is there, or do you have a family? Is that holding you back? You want to address these situations, put it on paper, and accept it and forgive it. That's what I had to do with my mom because my mother was very resistant to me moving out here. And for the longest time, she and I did not get she and I are very, very close, and we've never not been close. But there was a grudge kind of being held over her from me because I kept saying, well, she was the reason why I didn't move out sooner than I did. And when I finally like forgave that whole situation, things don't come up the way that they used to. Because what happens is, even though I was like, no, I'm going to do this anyways, and I'm going to move to California and I'm going to be a makeup artist, whatever. Even though I did it, there was still in the back of my subconscious mind, my mom doesn't want me to be here. So I was creating resistance for myself without me even realizing it. And I had to finally like do energy work and stuff like that. So that's what this question is about. What do you currently have holding you back? Kind of already asked this question, but after all of this work, after all this information, I wanted to ask this question differently a second time, so you guys can kind of see. All right, and the last question is, do you visualize yourself achieving these goals? Are they believable? This is the last question of the day. Are they achievable, and do you believe that you will achieve them? That I can't talk enough about that if you yourself don't believe that you can do certain things, just save that goal, that dream, just put it to the side for a second and kind of bring light to other things first, because you'll just keep kind of feeling bad about yourself. And that's not the vibration that you want to be in. You want to believe in yourself, and you want to know and feel that you're worthy. So having goals that don't really resonate in your gut, they might serve you in a later time, but at this time, you might just want to come back to it. And here's a bonus exercise. So this is something that I found really, really helpful. So write it down. So going back in 2008, if you guys do this, this is amazing. And if you don't worry about it. But write down your monthly income from each month in 2018. You can find your bank statements and do this. Or if you're like me, I write everything down so I know exactly how much I made each month. And circle the 2 best months with the highest amount of money you made. And reflect on maybe what it was that you were doing during that time. So that was something that really, really helped me reflect. And when I started kind of writing that down and taking note of it, I realized anytime I was doing really, really well, making $6,000 a month or more, it was because I was doing energy work, whether that was yoga, meditation, doing anything with the crystals, anything like that. Absolutely amazing. And it's cool to look back on and reflect. My desk job, I need to work to pay my bills. I miss out on gigs because I can't take time off. Yeah, that is unfortunate. However, during this time period, pay all your bills. Do what you need to do to pay all your bills, and just save back as much money as you possibly can. Something that I did, I was in serious debt, some serious debt. And I had my credit score was just embarrassing. And my sister luckily was out here. She still is my sister. She and I lived together for a while, but she lives with her husband now. I owe her like $7,000 or something like that, because I was at a point in my career where I just could not make ends meet. I was trying so hard. I never was able to make rent. So she would always pay my rent for me and my phone bill and all that stuff. And finally, my sister was like, yo, you got to leave. I can't keep paying for you. So I ended up going and living with my boyfriend and his mother. And during that time, this is when I started doing all of my energy work like crazy in the end of 2015. And I saved up a bunch of money. I saved back like $6,000 or $7,000 to then move on my own. And that was the best decision I ever made. So I don't know what your savings looks like. Some people have like tens of thousands of dollars in their savings. Some people have none. But if you take advantage of this time and be grateful for it. Every single night that you are writing in your gratitude journal, be grateful for your desk job. And I promise you, it'll bring you a different perspective. And I can almost guarantee you that out of the blue, there's going to be some crazy opportunity that comes your way when it's the right time and you're ready for it. So definitely, definitely, definitely take advantage of that. I get that. I'm finding it hard to work in practice sessions too. Yes, yes, yes. All right, you guys. So that is the conclusion of 2019's goal setting workshop. I hope you guys had a lot of fun. I know I did. I mean, we're going into 3 hours, I believe, right? Is that 3? Yeah, that's 3 hours. So, thank you all that are still here watching. If you're watching in the replay, please, if you have any questions, by all means, you can just email me at the email, whatever email you're receiving, just hit reply and you can email me. And it's always fun to like have the chat going on live, but I know some people can't always make it because different time zones and whatnot. But yes, so make sure you guys, if you are interested, if you're watching this later or if you're realizing that you do want this, the workbook to write through it and everything, the workbook is still available for the upgrade. It's just $7. And you just click on one of the, I believe it's in the middle image below this video after we're done. And then if you guys are really interested in, let's see, where did I put that? Oh no, there it is. If any of you guys are interested in the Manifesting Makeup Artist package, where you get the sage, you get and then the 2 stones that I've had like outrageous financial growth with between me, Kenneth, and then several others that I've shared this with. You'll get that as well as a meditation and a free digital download of the DVD documentary. So, and that's $30. So let's see. This was a good time. If anyone wants to link up on Instagram, my handle is Samika Pratley. Hi. Thank you so much, Amber. Love these workshops. Really gets me prepared for the starting year. Yes, 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 yes. 2019 is going to be amazing, you guys. I can't stress that enough. And make sure, if you guys are not a part of our Facebook group, that you ask to join. There are 2 questions that you have to answer in order to be a part of it. So make sure you answer those. And make sure that you continue to stay in touch. We actually have a giveaway that's coming up this month in January. So go on our Instagram and make sure you're part of that. Thanks, Amber. You're welcome. Amber, thank you so much for everything. This platform, insight, knowledge, and just you being so open is open to help is appreciated. You're welcome, everybody. You're so welcome. It is my pleasure. I have so many other goodies for you guys in store for the 2019 year. So you will be receiving even more. So inspiring. I have a lot of work to do. Woo! That's so exciting. Everybody, we're going to have an amazing 2019 year. Make sure you get your Manifesting Makeup Artist package if you are interested in that at all. And you're welcome. You're welcome. And I will see you guys around. Make sure you continue to stay in touch with me. If you have any questions or anything like that, I'm always around in email or direct message. And until then, Happy New Year! Bye, everybody. Happy 2019. Let's do this. Woo!